I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cam, good evening. Could we have a sunshine announcement, please?
Yes, Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 25th in the year 2025. This is a Jersey City Planning Board meeting with a scheduled 5:30 p.m. start time. And in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been given to the editor of the Bergen Record, L. Espelito, and posted with the city clerk on November 20th of this year. This meeting was also posted on the Jersey City Division of City Planning webpage, and all distribution materials made available to the board were published and made available to the public.
All right, thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Here.
Commissioner Gongadin.
Here.
Commissioner Stamato.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Here.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Here.
Commissioner Torres.
Here.
Commissioner Patel.
Here.
And Chairman Langston.
Here.
All right, we have 8 commissioners present. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Could we swear in the staff, please, Mike?
I see Joe, the Mattson Cam, do you guys swear any testimony you give tonight gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Cam, do we have correspondence?
Yes, Chairman. Quite a lot. So, under new business, starting with item 16, that's on page 9. So, item 16, page 9, case P 2024-0223. It's a minor site plan with C variances at 3 Orchard Street. They have been adjourned to January 27th. They will renotice. So there was a defect in their notice. They're going to be renoticing for January 27th.
Okay, so let's just put them down as adjourned.
Adjourned,
All
yes.
right.
Next, item 18, case P 2024-0213. This is for a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances. Address is 33 Pacific Avenue. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to January 13th of next year. Item 19 on the agenda, it's P 2024-0226. It's a preliminary and final major site plan. Address is 3085 JFK Boulevard. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to January 13th of 2026. Page 11, item 22. This is case P 2025-0070. This is a minor site plan. Address is 28 to 30 Winfield. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to January 13th of 2026. And next, item 23, case P 2023-0100. This is a preliminary and final major subdivision. They have adjourned, and they are tentatively scheduled to renotice for January 27th of 2026, but they are adjourned. Last correspondence, this is item 24 on page 12. So item 24, case P 2025-0073, a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances. Address is 569 Palisade Avenue. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to January 13th in 2026. And that concludes correspondence, Chairman. We do have the sunshine announcement marked into evidence as B1.
Okay, thank you, Cam. All right, so let's go to old business. 7A is case P2024-0134. It's a preliminary major site plan with C variances for 180 Baldwin. Testimony was taken on September 23rd on this matter. Good evening, counsel.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. Gerard Pizzillo from Genova Burns on behalf of the applicant, 180 Baldwin Avenue LLC. I think the application is just preliminary only, not preliminary and final. I don't
Did
know.
you say final? I apologize. Yeah,
No,
it's just
no
preliminary.
worries, no worries. Just want to make sure the
Thanks for
record's
keeping me
clear.
honest, Joe.
And thank you again, Board. Obviously, we had a lot of testimony, and the majority, all the testimony was taken last meeting. It was closed, and I think the board was deliberating certain aspects of the project, specifically the concern with the amount of retail. Post that meeting, we did have an opportunity to meet with staff, our design team, my client, and we did upload, let me put it this way, we did increase the amount of retail from 1,171 square feet to 20,832 square feet of retail. And that's an increase of 19,661 square feet. The retail will be located, as we discussed back and forth last time, along Baldwin Avenue and along the promenade. The plans were uploaded and distributed that show those impacts, that change. And how we're able to do that is by decreasing the office space. So the office was at 114,000 square feet. It'll now get reduced to approximately 94,000 square feet, just that 19,000 and change difference. I don't have any prepared, I have my architect here that could testify to the plans that were uploaded to the portal, those 3 sheets. There was a brief, I also uploaded a brief presentation detailing those changes of 7 sheets. But I'll leave it to the board to decide whether you want to hear that testimony. I think where it was closed last time, it's, at your preference and at your discretion. But I did want to note, obviously, for the record, no other aspects of the project changed except for that increase, which I think was a concern that the board had. Again, I can go through the iterations of the project, the details, but I won't belabor the board's time, but I'm happy to detail the fact that, this is essentially an as of right. The one deviation here shrinks the buildings to create this promenade level and allow for this additional view corridor and, pedestrian kind of activity along that level of the proposed project. So that would be my remarks. Happy to call Mr. Marchetto up to testify to them.
I
And
think
happy to
we-
answer any questions.
Yeah, I
as well.
definitely think we should have testimony.
Okay.
Before we move on, though, let's just go around the dais, make sure everybody read the transcript or watched the video. Commissioner Gonzalez, did you have a chance to read the transcript?
I did, and I watched the video as well.
Okay, thank you, Vijay, you were here. Pat, did you have a chance to
Yes, I
review
did,
the
and
video?
also saw the video.
Okay, Anthony was here. Commissioner Lipsky, did you have a chance?
Ditto, Commissioner Gonzalez and Stamato.
Okay.
I've read it and I've watched it.
Okay, excellent. Everybody else was at the meeting, so, all right, thank you. We have quorum, and let's call your witness.
Thank you, Chairman.
Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, can you state my name?
Yes, my name is Dean Marchetto, and it's Marchetto.
Mr. Marchetto, good evening. We qualified you last meeting. That's on record, but is your license in good standing tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified again.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Board. I'm here to follow up on my presentation from the last hearing. As Gerard had mentioned, we visited with staff, we met with Matt, looked at the locations to place additional retail, which was one of the board's concerns on the project, and I have a short presentation to update you on that. So the image that I have here on the screen is the Baldwin, maybe I can make it bigger. Yeah, it's the Baldwin Avenue at the top of the page. It's the Baldwin Avenue level. And if you notice, this is the previous design. The blue represents office lobby, and the beige represents the residential lobby. And what we've done, I'm going to go to the next page here. You can see the difference. The orange color or the ochre color spaces are all the new retail spaces. You'll see each tower has a retail space along Baldwin Avenue. And when you get down to the promenade, down at the lower level here, there's an additional retail space here. We also included some retail pavilions to make the public space more activated. You'll see these horizontal orange bars separated by some skylights that take light down to the service level down below. Those are retail pavilions a la Faneuil Hall or Bryant Park. I have some examples of what that looks like. By the way, before I go to the next page, you could see on the bottom right here, the new total square footage for retail is 20,832. The previous application had 1,171. So we really went beyond the 16,000 additional retail that had been requested and tried to load it up. And so this next page is indicative of the kind of retail that we're adding on the pavilion. You see we have a carousel, which we're proposing to put out there seasonally. We have some kiosks for food and beverage, and also these kind of glass pavilions that could be used seasonally for markets. And so that will activate. I know that the board was concerned that people would be drawn through the project from Baldwin to the promenade, and that retail would help to draw people in. So the next page is the lower level, which is the service level. But if you look here, this is the previous plan that we had presented. These two orange areas in here was formerly where we had retail. It was just a cafe for office workers. Down here was all office space lining the promenade. And this is the previous plan. The plan I'd like to change to is this one here. Well, here. You could see now the orange ochre color. We added all of this office space that was at ground level on the promenade is now continuous retail that can be subdivided into different tenants. And then this piece on the left as well will be retail. So people coming from Baldwin through the project down to the promenade will be confronted with retail all throughout the project. And you could see here, this is now the promenade down on the bottom with all retail located along the face of that promenade. That's essentially all the changes that we made. The building is the same volume, same square footage. We just simply traded some office square footage for retail square footage.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marchetto.
Can we enter this presentation into evidence? I think it would be A4.
We can mark it as A4, Matt. I believe it had a date of October 9th on it. Did you have a date on that, Mr. Marchetto?
I don't have the date on me, but
I think it's on the drawing.
On the first page of the presentation, perhaps?
I think that the date that's on the drawing here is the ordinance that we're following. But I can get you a date. It was filed with,
Do you want to call it November 13th when it was uploaded to the
If we
portal?
scroll down, I could have sworn I just saw October 9th, 2025.
no, when,
Under Devora. Keep going.
There you go, 10/9, okay.
Is that the date?
no.
Okay.
That was the date
That's
of the
early
initial,
date. You
the
notice
an
here on
earlier
this plan,
presentation.
this plan you're looking at is the previous plan. Then I went to this plan, and that date has not been updated, so we'll.
Fair.
We'll
It's dated today.
Okay,
Dated
got it,
today.
understood. November 25th.
7 sheets?
7 sheets.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions, anybody? And Mr. Marchetto, those pavilions, they're up year-round, or they're seasonal
They're
as
seasonal.
needed?
They're
Okay.
seasonal, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I have no questions. All right, thank you, Mr. Marchetto. Council, that's your presentation?
Yes, it is, Chairman, thank you.
Okay, so at this time, let's open it up for public comment. Now, this is an open application that we've heard testimony on already. So any public comment, we already opened and closed public comment at the last meeting. Any public comment would have to be specific to the testimony that we've heard here tonight, if that's understandable. So anybody from public, if you'd like to comment, please come on up.
Mr. Chair, seeing no public, I move to close the public.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Matt?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So there's several reports that we received, although this is just a preliminary site plan application, final major site plan application. It's not final major, sorry, just misspoke. Preliminary final, no, preliminary major site plan. Oh, man, it's gonna be a long night. Okay, all right. We have a report from the JCMUA, we have a report from the Forester, as well as the Transportation Office. Has the applicant had a chance to review those? And are they going to be able to comply with those comments?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a large project, a 6-tower project with over 2,000 units. I think the changes that you saw presented here tonight are meeting, with the retail changes, are meeting that intensity of the residential use and the office uses that are proposed here. They are utilizing the whole block provision of the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan. Staff is in support of the variance that they're requesting. This being an unusual site, as you walk in at grade, you're actually above structured parking. And because of that, we see the smaller tower base, which is kind of pulling that profile in at the lobby levels and the office levels as being a benefit to this project from a purely planning perspective, and we would support the granting of that variance. With regards to the phasing plan, we do think that in this preliminary application that they put together, that it's a little bit underdeveloped. I think they looked at how they're going to phase the towers, but not necessarily vertically, considering that they're going to have so much to build to when they get to the towers first. So when they come back again, we would like to see that a little bit more developed. This application does not trigger the IZO. I think at the last meeting before I put on my full testimony, I'm saying how this project did have at one time 7 towers. They removed one of them that would have triggered the IZO, the inclusionary zoning ordinance. And they made some major design changes to over the course of this middle of the application. They've improved the circulation throughout the site, both public and vehicular. When I say public, I mean pedestrian. With regards to High Street, they're showing that they're going to maintain and fix all the cobble that's on that portion of that stub street, or dead end street. And I think the level of pedestrian ways throughout this site will be a nice complementary project to the activity going on in Journal Square proper, this being somewhat on the periphery. Now, staff did recommend in their report dated October 21st, 2025, 6 conditions. We would just ask that the applicant also consider those and see if they agree to those as well.
Yes, we've reviewed them, and we can meet and will comply with those conditions.
With that, staff would recommend approval.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I'll entertain a motion then.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P 2024-0134 as presented to our board tonight.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded for approval.
Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Gangadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Yeah, I think it's a very well-designed and very thoughtful project. I like the fact that it was scaled back and that the variation would give the views that were mentioned in the last meeting. So I think I live in the area, so I vote eagerly to see this be developed. Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Yes, very large project, a lot of units. I'm hoping as it comes back to the board and as we look at the phases and stuff, they come back with some affordable housing in there too. and find a way of putting it in. We all know this last month, that's what Jersey City started to look for. So somehow fit that in, the project will be a better project. With that, I'm going to vote aye because that's the right project. But
Commissioner Battelle?
Aye.
Chairman Langston?
So, speaking to the variance, I don't think it's out of the ordinary. I think it's totally reasonable. It complies with the master plan, in my opinion. Council, I appreciate you listening to the board. I think this project lives or dies depending on the amount of retail space and how it activates the site. I do have to say, Mr. Marchetto, that was the biggest crowd I've ever seen in a rendering. So I don't think, without that retail space, that doesn't happen. So, let's make sure that it's active, it benefits the community as far as the retail space goes. So with that, I'm an aye.
Motion carries. All in favor?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Council.
Thank
You too.
Thank you.
All right, let's call item B as case P2025-0178 is a one-year site plan extension for 650 Grant Street. Council, good evening.
Good evening, Chairman. Eugene O'Connell appearing for the applicant, BJ Power LLC. There were variances on this application, so I did do notices.
Thank you, Council. Chairman, see the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the request for the extension of case P19-194, preliminary major site plan, final major site plan with C variances. Does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purpose of the record.
Okay, thank you, Council.
Well, thank you. This is the second extension for this project. The applicant is ready to construct it. He was ready in July. However, the last extension ended in June. So we just need the one extension. He's ready to start construction right away.
Okay. Any questions, anybody? No. All right, thank you, Council. Is there anybody here from the public that wants to comment on this application?
Seeing no public, I move to close.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Sophia is not here. Cam, you're stepping in?
Yes, Chairman. Planning staff asked that the applicant agree to all of the conditions that were listed in the original resolution of approval.
Yes, we do.
Planning staff recommends approval.
All right, thanks, Cam.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0178 as presented to our board tonight.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded for approval.
All right. Vice Chairman Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Gungadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries. All in favor with conditions.
All right,
Thank you very
thank you.
much.
Thank you, Council. All right, let's move on to new business. Item 9 is case P2025-0187 is an administrative amendment for 163 to 165 Newark Avenue. Mr. McCann, good evening.
Hi, good evening, commissioners, staff, and council.
Is that mic on?
Hello.
Okay, it is.
James
maybe
McCann
my
from the law
hearing's
firm
going,
of
I don't know.
Connell Foley in Jersey City, appearing on behalf of the applicant, 163, 165 Newark Avenue, 165 Newark Avenue Fee LLC. So while the presenters are setting up, I'm just going to give you a little history about this project. It received a preliminary and final site plan approval in 2019. At the time, there was a commercial tenant in one of the existing retail spaces because there's an existing building there. The project was delayed for several years because of that. The retail tenant, commercial tenant, has now moved out of the space. Their lease expired. So the applicant's ready to build. It has construction financing lined up. It can start construction very soon. As usual, during the process of applying for building permits and the project was refined. That's why we're here tonight to ask the board to approve some changes that we believe will improve the project. They're very minimal. changes. So we're going to try to keep a short presentation. Wasn't really sure on my schedule tonight, so I'm going to let my colleague Rebecca Mayarello actually make the presentation with the architect and the civil engineer. So I'm going to defer to her right now.
I'm sorry, with that being said, are you exiting the room for the rest of the night?
No, I'll do the next case. though.
Gotcha. Okay, just want to make that clear.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good evening, council.
Good evening, Rebecca Mariello of Connell Foley, and also happy early Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Okay, as Jim stated, we're here on behalf of the applicant, 165 Newark Fee LLC. They're the owner of the property located at 163, 165 Newark Avenue. This property is located in zones A and C of the Newark Downtown Redevelopment Plan. It's currently an improved site. You guys are probably familiar with the barcade that's there. It has frontage on Newark Avenue, Barrow Street, and Christopher Columbus Drive. As Jim previously stated, we received preliminary and final major site plan approval in 2019 to construct a 5 to 7 mixed-use story building there while also preserving the existing facade on Newark Avenue and Barrow Street. That project, we had ground floor and cellar floor retail space and 51 residential units on the floors above. We're before the board this evening seeking minor modifications to this plan and just get it ready for construction. Part of those modifications include we're reducing the unit count by 1 unit, so 50 units instead of 51. We're modifying the cellar and ground floor layout to provide for the utility connections. That's frequently before this board, just finalizing that plan to fine tune it. We're also making some minor facade changes. We previously proposed stucco and we're not proposing that anymore. We're proposing some modifications to the bulkhead, as well as some modifications to the planting schedule. We're proposing to plant 9 trees in connection with this application. We previously proposed 8. And you'll hear testimony tonight on why our planting schedule needed to be modified. This is also, previously this was a phased project to be constructed in 2 phases. We're just going to propose 1 single phase of construction. And that's about it. There are no variances. We're not requesting any variances in connection with this application. We're also in receipt of a staff report dated November 21st, 2025, and we will agree to all the conditions stated therein.
Excellent. Thank you, council.
Thank you. With that said, this is a notice case. Council, if I may tender my notice and mark it as A1.
Please and thank you. Happens sometimes. Chairman, receive the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the application 165 Newark Avenue here in the city. It does appear to be in order. We are going to mark it as A1 for the record.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. I would like to introduce my first witness, Dirk Garlick.
Thank you.
You swear in testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can you spell your name?
Dirk, D-E-R-K, Garlick, G-A-R-L-I-C-K.
Mr. Garlick, good evening. We've qualified you in the past, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Your license is current tonight?
It is in good standing.
All right. Thank you. You're qualified.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Garlick, you are fully familiar with the Newark Downtown Redevelopment Plan, correct?
I am.
And you prepared the plans in connection with the original project that I described, correct?
That is correct.
And you prepared plans in connection with this proposed amendment?
I have.
Thank you. I would like to direct my witness to walk the board through these plans, but first I would like to mark them as A2. How many slides is this?
I believe there were 17 slides.
Okay. We'll like to mark this. I think this was uploaded to Tyler Portal, but just for purposes of clarifying the record, we'll mark this as A2. The architectural plans consisting of 17 slides.
Can you give us the last revision date if there is one?
Well, Yeah, I mean, these, we just created these for this presentation. The actual plans that have been submitted for the amendment have been
Okay.
submitted.
So what's the date on this plan? Did you not date it?
These are not dated. 'Cause
Okay.
these were just for a side-by-side comparison for today.
Dated today, 11/25/25,
Thank you, council.
A2.
All right, thank you. Good evening. These are revisions to a prior approved mixed-use building located in downtown Jersey City at 165 New York Avenue. The project was approved as a 7-story structure that incorporates an existing 1930s Art Deco facade, also known as the Barcade Building. These revisions are the result of the final development of our construction drawings, the closure of Barrow Street to vehicular traffic, and some minor interior changes to enhance the user's experience throughout the building. So I'll just jump right into starting with the cellar floor plan. As we can see on sheet A10A, we've done a side-by-side comparison in these plans to show you, just very clearly the modifications that we've provided to the plans. On the top is the original application. On the top is the current application, on the bottom was the original application. The red line that surrounds the property and divides the two left and right sides on the lower diagram reflects that the original proposal had this split into 2 phases. And it's important to note that now this is being constructed as one single phase. And the reason that is important is because it impacts how the construction and the development of the foundation plan was done in the cellar, and impacted then how we designed and detailed the primary shear wall. And this shear wall here, next to retail space number 3, is the primary kind of driving force why we increased the total square footage in the cellar. As you can see, there was this original mechanical room. The elevations were quite a bit different at the time, so we needed to, when that room was demolished for the foundation system, we needed to create this shear wall and kind of rotate that around, resulting in additional square footage in that cellar space. Part of the water service room and locating the electrical services coming off of Christopher Columbus on the left, on the side of the building, and then relocating the proposed gym and making it a little larger amenity space was something we were able to do in the redesign process. Going up to the ground floor level, this in particular was important because of the closure of Barrow Street and activating it as a playground or some type of park space. We originally had the delivery service entrance coming off adjacent to the lobby, which you can see right here behind the elevator, and this little diagram says delivery. We found that would create a problem, and it would be much easier for us to reroute the access over to Christopher Columbus. So we brought it in this diagram out the back of the building and along the back of the commercial space and out to Christopher Columbus. We were also able to eliminate a transformer vault in the design development process, and we were able to increase the refuse collection room and again make that a benefit to the building. A few minor items are the recessed entries at the commercial space to keep the doors from swinging over the property lines, and the bicycle storage area, we just kind of rotated it through the backside here. Up on the second floor, they're really just minor interior changes to accommodate, some closets and bathroom ADA issues that changed from 2019 to 2022. So those kind of move past floors 2 and 3 and 4. 5. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer questions on these plans, but generally all floors repeat the same type of units and just minor interior modifications based on those ADA issues. once we get up to the 6th floor, there was a change in the outside corner unit, and that adjacent to the amenity space, there was a two-bedroom unit adjacent to a one-bedroom studio, and that's where we decided that it would be an overall benefit to the building and the tenants in the building to have a slightly larger amenity space, and also providing a broader mix of units by changing that corner unit to a three-bedroom, more family-oriented unit. So by reworking the efficiency of those two units, we were able to create one three-bedroom unit and increase the size of the amenity space. And that's the primary floor plan change of level 6. And up to the 7th level, it really is primarily related to the bulkhead. There was this kind of curvaceous shape. We simplified the geometry of the bulkhead. We were able to minimize the size and shape of the bulkhead, and change the material from that stucco to ACM panel. So we felt we made it a kind of a nicer feeling than the traditional stucco. Again, here it just explains the reduction of that simplification of that geometry. And then the inclusion, here we have this diagram that shows the previous bulkhead and the new bulkhead with the acoustic louvered screen around the top side of it. So again, there has not been any increase in size or shape or bulk or mass of the building. There's been no further increase or result that would require us to request additional relief on a variance that was originally sought. And the changes that we've made, we felt have just been part of the construction development process, and a few of the circumstances that led us, like the closure of Barrow Street, led us to rethink some of the design parameters of the building. Are there any questions?
Mr. Garlick, can you just go over the minor changes to the mezzanine area?
Sure. At the mezzanine level, the configuration of the original tenant spaces was slightly altered, and so we have a larger shear wall down the center of the space here, and we just reworked the shape of that mezzanine, and as we brought it out to this line here, it's added a few 200 square feet of additional mezzanine space.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness. I submit to the board.
Okay, thank you. Have any of the other materials changed, colors changed, anything?
No.
Okay. All right, while you're going that way, let's stop at level 6.
All right, yeah, I was going to go to the materials, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. If nothing changed, I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you increased amenity space by 2 feet?
That's what I was going to ask.
I'm sorry.
Took it from there.
Well, I think we've increased the usable, the 12 feet really only reflects the inside of the amenity space. As you can see, we've added these 2 additional restrooms that service that space. That was not taken into that overall square footage. Because if you can see that,
Okay,
this line.
sure, understood. Okay, nothing aside from the rearrangement of the condenser units, nothing's changed up there or on the outside?
There was a slight modification where we just readjusted some of the green roof to ensure that we're hitting the requirements that were in the original. We've actually provided a few square feet over, what was requested of us, and that we worked closely with planning to ensure that was done.
Okay, so let's go to the basement. Okay, so on the proposed plan, the doors that swing in towards the elevator, is that an area of refuge there? What are those doors for?
Into our new, where it says elevator lobby on the left, on plan
Yeah,
left?
so elevator lobby service.
Yep.
Just to the bottom of that,
Oh,
there's
service.
swinging doors right there.
Yeah, that's security and also to ensure that the smoke passage into that
Okay.
central corridor.
So the other side of that smoke door is down the hallway.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if it's a code issue, but why is that so far down the hallway?
Which part?
So
Why are the doors so far down, or why?
So you have your first smoke door in front of the service elevator lobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go past the elevator all the way down to the left. That's your next smoke door?
Yeah, I mean, you're out of the elevator lobby at that point, once you pass those smoke doors, and you're in the central corridor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a code where it has to be,
No.
I
No,
mean,
we're-
if,
No, we're not, no.
okay,
Yeah, no, we're fine. I mean, we have to isolate that elevator lobby as you come out of the
Sure.
elevators here at the center.
sure, of course.
And then same on the other side, adjacent to the gym area.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go through those doors, you're in a central corridor that services then those tenant spaces.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious why that door is all the way down that hallway. I mean, if I was a fireman going into that basement, lights out, do I want to be looking around that corner for someone?
Oh,
Are you
mean
talking about the one-
You mean down to retail space two? Is that?
Yes,
where you're
going towards
concerned?
retail
I see.
space too.
We could move it forward probably 5 to 7 feet. But there is a clearance requirement as you go through that somewhat tight corner. We couldn't put it right at the corner because of the location of, as you can see, it's a tight,
Yeah,
it's a tight squeeze through there.
but that squeeze makes code, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may, just put on the record that our plans will certainly comply with all required building codes and fire codes and the like.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious why it's all the way down the hall like that.
Primarily is because you needed a swing at the door, and so it's just put down there, and then a small vestibule into that in that retail space.
Okay. Those are my questions. Anybody else? I'm sorry, I took yours. Anybody?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counsel,
I just have
anything
one more
else?
witness.
Sure.
I'll keep this very brief. Our silver engineer, Mark Chisvet.
Good evening. I do. Mark, M-A-R-K, Chisvet, C-H-I-S-V-E-T-T-E, and my license is still in good standing.
Thank you, Mr. Chisvet. You're qualified, as always.
Thank you.
Okay,
So-
Mr. Chisvet, you are fully familiar with the Newark Downtown redevelopment plan, correct?
Yes, I am.
And you prepared the plans in connection with the original approved project?
Yes, I did.
And you prepared these plans in connection with the amendment, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. I would just ask that you briefly walk the board through the proposed planting schedule changes and why they were required.
Sure. There were, originally, the proposal was to maintain or preserve 6 of the existing street trees and provide 2 new ones for a total of 8 trees. But the trees that are existing along Barrow Street interfere with the work area needed to preserve the facade that's on Barrow Street. So we talked to the forester, and we agreed. We came to an agreement that it would be okay to remove the trees and replace them with new trees. The advantage of that is that because we now have control of the tree spacing, instead of trying to fit to the existing spacing, we actually got an extra tree into the frontage. So we are now proposing 9 new street trees instead of the 8 that were proposed previously. And because the street tree ordinance has changed since the original approval, we are now required to have 1 tree per 25 feet of frontage, so we actually need 13. Unfortunately, because of utilities, existing poles, and other constraints, we couldn't have 13 trees along the frontage. So we are proposing a donation of 4 additional trees to complement the 9 that are being proposed. So that's the change in the planting, and the selection of the trees has been already reviewed by the forester, and he's in agreement to that selection. So that's really the only site change. I will switch to the next sheet, which is the lighting plan. Over the years, some of the fixtures that were originally proposed have been discontinued, so we were forced to replace them with different fixtures, and because the photometrics are slightly different, the spacing's a little different, but essentially the same idea. There are a couple of light poles, one on the Newark Ave side, and there's one on the Christopher Columbus side, existing poles that remain, and we will supplement that lighting with the wall-mounted fixtures to provide the 1-foot candle minimum as required. It's just a different, some of the fixtures are the same, a few of them have changed, but the photometrics are still compliant. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chisvat. I have no questions. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ed.
The light poles you're talking about, so you're going to eliminate the light poles and have lighting on the building?
Not eliminating the poles. The poles
Not
are there,
eliminating poles.
and these supplement the gaps in the light between the poles, mostly for Barrow.
Okay, so the light that's there for the street and the poles that are there are going to still remain?
They'll remain, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? No. All right, thank you. Council, any other witnesses?
Nope, I have no further witnesses.
Okay, thank you. So with that said, let's open it up for public comment. If there's anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application, please come on up.
Mr. Chair, seeing no public, I move to close.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Cam, you're handling this?
Yep, I am stepping in for
Do it all.
Mr. Jordan. Ben prepared a report dated November 21st of this year. Does the applicant and their attorney agree to those conditions in the report?
Yes, the applicant agrees to all the conditions.
Okay, with that, planning staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you, Cam.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion at this time to approve case P 2025-0187 as presented to our board tonight.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded for approval.
Vice Chair, Dr. Gonzalez.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Gungadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries. All in favor with conditions.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, we are going to jump one item ahead. We're going to go to item 15, is case P2024-0080. This is a site plan amendment with a C variance for 177 Grant Street.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jim McCann from the law firm of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant again. This is a notice case because it is an application for an amended preliminary and final site plan application. We are requesting 2 variances associated with this application. I have my affidavit, proof of service and mailing for you, Council.
Thank you, Council.
So this application was approved in January of 2024 as a preliminary site plan approval with variances. It was approved at 397 units. 15% of which, or 60, are planned to be affordable, were approved to be affordable housing under the IZO. 77 garage spaces, 7,500 square foot of school space, 11,700 square feet of retail, all in one building with a 4-story podium, 2 towers, one to be 29 floors on Grand Street, the other to be 18 floors fronting on Sussex. And the variances, if you recall, this is a split zone property. The project is in the Tidewater Basin redevelopment plan, but it's a 3,500 square foot lot. There's about 2,500 square feet that were located in the R2 multifamily district, and the variances were associated with that very small piece of property. The application tonight does not propose to expand or otherwise change any of those 3 variances, but we do have 2 other minor variances for this amendment application. The amendments that you're going to hear our team present are that the units are increasing from 397 to 413. And the reason for that is because the original approval, the preliminary approval, had some 4-bedroom units. The applicants decided to pull the 4-bedroom units out of the project and then reconstitute the unit mix, take that space and use it for 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments to make it more of a traditional building. 4 bedrooms is a little bit unusual, so gone back to the tradition. There's also an increase in the school space. If you recall from the original approval, the school that is going to be occupying the space is OLC. The applicant and OLC have worked out a slight change to the space. It was supposed to be 7,500 square feet. It's now going to be 8,252 square feet, little more space for the school to use. That's going to result in a decrease in the retail from about 11,000 square feet down to 7,000. There's also going to be a decrease in parking from 77 spaces to 71. But the overall structure, for the most part, remains the same. The architect will explain to you some minor changes. Council, I'm going to be quiet so you can tell me if my notice is acceptable.
Thank you, Council. Chairman, I am to receive the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the application 177, 193, and 195 Grant Street. It does appear to be in order, so we are going to mark it as A1 for the record.
Thank you, Council. The deviations requested are from the redevelopment plan, and I hope you'll find they're very minor. They involve the number of curb cuts and the width of the curb cuts, and Mr. Shizvet will tell you a little bit more about that. I'm going to right now defer to him. He's my first witness. He's the civil engineer for the project, so I'll let him be sworn in.
Okay, thank you, Council. And let the record show Mr. Shizvet has been sworn and has already been qualified tonight. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you.
Mark, before you start your actual presentation, the plans that we're requesting be approved tonight are the plans that were filed on the planning portal, and they were last revised, and they are dated November 10th, 2025. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you're familiar with the Tidewater Basin redevelopment plan in the R2 district?
That's correct. Yes, I am.
Okay. Just one housekeeping thing that I should tell you. We were required by the tax assessor and I think also the planning division to file a deed of consolidation for the property. It's currently 3 lots. We filed the deed of consolidation earlier in November as requested. So the property henceforth in 2026 will be known as Lot 10.02. I have a copy of the deed of consolidation if planning wants it, or I could submit it afterward as part of resolution compliance.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one correction I want to make. I think Mr. McCann said 71 parking spaces. I believe the correct number is 70, and Mr. Zimmer will be testifying as to
Apologies. That's
and
correct.
He'll confirm that. And then, so that's shown on this plan, the 70 parking spaces that are proposed. The variance that was mentioned has to do with the driveways. There's 2 of them. One is that there should only be one, and the variance is for a second 2-way driveway. And the other variance is that one of those two driveways that are proposed exceeds 18 feet in width. It's proposed to be 21 feet in width. So that's the variance regarding the driveway, and I'll go to the site plan, and I will show where that takes place exactly on the site. I'm just gonna scale this back a little bit so you can see the entire site. Just to get yourself oriented, Grand Street is at the top of the page, Marin is on the left side, and Sussex Street is to the lower right, Van Voorst is to the right. So there are, the main driveway to the parking garage is off of Marin, and that's a two-way driveway which has a compliant width of 18 feet. That hasn't changed since the original application. It may have shifted a couple of feet just to work out with the structural requirements. The other driveway is actually into the loading. There's a loading area that's proposed off of Sussex Street. And in order to provide a double width loading area, there's a column in between there, and it just wasn't feasible to access both sides of that loading area with an 18-foot driveway. So we are proposing a 21-foot wide curb cut to be able to bring vehicles into that loading area. So that's the variance that was referenced before.
So the actual deviation is because we have a second curb cut, correct?
That's correct.
And the second curb cut is
Exceeds
3
18
feet
feet, yes.
extra, in width extra than what's permitted by the plan, which is 18, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thanks.
That's correct. The other change that has taken place on this is to do with the bicycle racks. Originally, we had proposed a rack that could accommodate each rack was accommodate 3 bikes, but it's not the city standard. So planning has requested that we revise the plan to use the city standard Duro bike rack, which is a 2-bike capacity. So we have added a couple more bike racks to the plan. They're mostly along Grand Street. There are a couple along Sussex Street as well, and it does meet the requirement for the total number of outdoor parking bike spaces. There are changes that were made that we've added some striping on a loading zone along Grand Street and some rumble strip school zone warning striping on both approaches along Grand Street at the request of planning and traffic. And that's incorporated into this plan as well. You can see it over here on the easterly side of the site on Long Grand, and again on the approach from the west along Grand Street.
So Mark, that's in response to, we received a June 9th, 2025 letter from Mike Manzella of Traffic and Infrastructure, right? So the changes you're describing, we made in connection with receiving those comments from that agency, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
There's an inset on this plan that didn't exist on the previous, just to show the existing striping that exists as well as what's proposed as far as the loading zone along the Grand Street side. And again, that was traffic had asked that we provide some kind of loading along there. So that's the change to the site plan. Basically, the lighting plan is essentially the same as the original approval. There's street lights along Grand Street and Sussex Street, the typical post-mounted public service lease poles, and that hasn't really changed since the original approval. And those poles are, those poles provide the 1-foot candle minimums that's required along the sidewalk. There are some additional lighting along the ramp that comes up from Grand Street to the school entrance. And Mr. Zimmer will get into more detail with it, but there's a vestibule at the top of that, a small vestibule at the top of that ramp to access the school, and that originally was outside. So that tiny little vestibules in addition. That was not in the original plan. As far as utilities are concerned, it's essentially the same. There has been one change. Working through some of the, with the MEP engineers in process of preparing construction documents, it was difficult to provide some of the drainage along the yard that's behind the school, that's between the building and the homes that front on Grand Street. There's an area there. There were a couple of yard drains in that area, and because of the distance from the connection over on Marin, and the fact that the storm system in Marin is not very deep, it was just impossible to get the water to Marin by gravity. So we have proposed another connection to the sewer, the combined sewer in Sussex. It's not, there's no rooftop going to that. It's just basically those small outdoor areas that are going into that system, but the bulk of the drainage is still going to an extension of the storm system, the dedicated storm system that's in Marin. So that system that's in Marin is not a combined sewer. So the advantage of this system is that the bulk of the drainage does not go into the combined sewer. We've already been approved with this storm design. The DEP has already granted a flood hazard permit, and part of that permit review was to review the stormwater management plan for this project. And that permit has been secured. And, you know, the rest of the utilities that are being shown in the water connection, they're the same as what had been previously approved. There's an extension of water along Sussex Street from Van Forest, and that was in the original proposal.
Okay, and just for the record, Mark, the slides that you're using to testify are the actual filed plans.
These are the plans, yes. This is not an exhibit set.
Right.
Yes.
These are the filed plans.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's the end of my testimony.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chisvet. How much space do you have on Sussex Street between the curb cut and the end of the street to the west?
To the west?
Do you have room
Yeah,
for a car there?
Let me go to the site plan and I can zoom in on it a
Sure.
little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So here's the curb cut, here's the loading area, and it pretty much just several feet away from where that curb does that little
Okay,
scoop.
understood.
And it's directly opposite the driveway into the parking garage across the street.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good, thank you. That's my only question. Anybody else? All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Next
Counsel?
witness is Mr. John Zimmer, the project architect. So we received a staff report from the planning division, and just to put on the record, the conditions in the staff report are acceptable to the applicant. Take care of a little bit of
Thank you,
housekeeping
Counsel.
while we're waiting.
Excellent, thank you.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah,
You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And the record can state your name.
John Zimmer, Johnzimmer.
Mr. Zimmer, good evening. Your license is current tonight?
It is.
Okay, thank you, you're qualified.
Mr. Zimmer, you've been the project architect for 177 Grand since the inception of the project, correct?
I have.
And you prepared the original approved preliminary site plans,
I did.
architectural plans?
Yes,
Okay, and you've also prepared the plans that we're proposing to the board tonight, correct?
I did.
Okay, and you're prepared them in accordance with, and you're familiar with both the redevelopment plan and the R2 district of the LDO, correct?
Correct.
All right, take us away.
Okay.
Well, I guess let's do one more thing. So you're going to testify from a series of slides that you prepared. I believe there's 22 slides.
That sounds correct, yes.
Okay, and you've prepared those slides based on the plans that were filed with the board as part of this application. And those plans, your plans, the architectural plans, are also dated November 10th, 2025, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the presentation you're making tonight on these slides is consistent with those plans.
We've added color for clarity, but yeah.
And you've done a comparison between, in some cases, what was approved already and what's being proposed, so you could illustrate it for the board, correct?
That's right. This is meant to be a before, after, before, after, before, after. We believe the amendments are pretty minor and just.
Thank you. So, Council, A2.
A2,
Got it.
22 slides.
Yep. All right.
177 Grand Street, Jersey City, site plan hearing, 25th November 2025, A2.
Thank you.
And just to reiterate, everything that is proposed here is still consistent with the redevelopment plan. There are some changes, but none of the changes that I'm going to discuss require a new variance. The only new variance is the one that Mark described a moment ago. This is the increase in units. I don't know if it's clear enough for you on your screens or if you need me to zoom in. You can see the unit mix from the previous approved set was for 397 with the 4-bed units included in that mix. And as Jim mentioned, it was always an anomaly to go to market with 4-bedroom units. Our client decided to eliminate those, and we redistributed that same floor area and perimeter amongst a number of the remaining unit types. So you see increases in all of the other unit types, I believe. Actually, 1 bed's dropped slightly, but an increase in studios, 2 beds, and 3 beds. And we had the 60 affordable units before. We now have 62, or 61 previously. We now have 62 to maintain that percentage of affordable units relative to the market rate units.
And that's been approved by the Division of Affordable Housing, for the record. So it's 62 affordable units in accordance with the IZO to account for the 413 units that we're now proposing. 15%.
There have been some modest changes to the bulk and to the facade, and this is the approved version, and this is the proposed version. 2 changes. The length of the Grand Street Tower has increased by about 4 feet, and the height of the Grand Street Tower to the top of the appurtenance has increased by about 5 feet. The reason for the length change has to do with a few things. Rejiggering the plan for the new unit mix, also much thicker than expected shear walls. And the height really is mostly to do with the relocation of the pool from the Sussex Street Tower to the Grand Street Tower. So just to go back and forth. So it's a little bit longer and a little bit taller on the Grand Street side. We've also modified the facade grid in the proposed version. It was gathered into 2-story bays, and now it's gathered into 3-story bays vertically. Just felt that lent a more elegant proportion for the mass of the building.
Mr. Zimmer, just to be clear, the towers, both towers still comply with the height requirements of the redevelopment plan, correct?
They do.
Okay,
That's
thank
exactly
you.
right, yes. And this is just this other view. We're also proposing a change in the material of the opaque portions of the towers. It was approved as a porcelain that was very white, and we are proposing just to tone that down a little bit, go with a little bit more of a chalk-colored porcelain panel. I brought physical samples with me. They're over there on the table if you'd like me to pass them around or but it's just meant to kind of soften the impact of the tower and also, in bright sunlight to kind of tone it down a little bit and make it more sympathetic with the brick base, which we've always had. This is the approved version along Grand Street, and really not too much difference here in terms of the height of the podium or the distribution of the windows or any of that. We have made just some updates to the facade based on redistribution of the program, shifting of the entrance and shifting of the school plan area that we had described earlier. But it's quite similar concept. Still this kind of gray-brown brick for the masonry. The height, if you recall, is intended to be sympathetic with the existing brick buildings along Grand Street, and that is still unchanged.
Would the board like me to pass around the samples, the material samples? Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And this is just to show you those materials. The previous was the white porcelain, and this is actually, it reads a little green in the PDF here, but you can see the physical sample over there. It's actually just kind of a chalk-colored porcelain. Same gray brick, obviously glass, and gray metal for the windows. Oops, sorry, jumped ahead on myself here. Oh, sorry, this is behaving erratically. There we go. And this is that comparison of height that you see there. And facade change. This is the approved ground floor plan. I'm just going to quickly flip to the proposed so you can see that it's quite similar, and then flip back. So substantially the same, retail facing Grand and Marin, the entrance on Grand, the school component against Lot 8, against the lot line there, a connected lobby, a secondary lobby on Sussex Street, the parking ramp on Marin. These are all exactly the same as they used to be, or substantially the same as they used to be. It's a very, very similar layout. A couple of things from a functional perspective had to happen. We needed to add a transformer vault on Marin. We couldn't serve the building entirely from Sussex as originally intended. And we have added an extra loading berth to service the building off of Sussex, which is a shallow berth for vans and deliveries and that kind of thing. So those things you can see here have pushed some of the program area around. And then in conversations with the school, there was give and take between what they wanted and ownership, and so we've kind of been massaging the school area, and you can see that it's slightly different than it used to be. The vestibule that Mark referenced was desired by them. It's something you can see as you get to the top of the ramp, and helps to improve the interior space planning a little bit to allow that vestibule to be outside of their envelope. And again, this does not trigger a new variance. It's outside of the area of the rear yard of the adjacent lots, and is fully compliant.
So, John, the proposed slide, you could see we've eliminated the retail on Sussex and extended the school, right? That's what this plan shows.
Yes.
In some ways. Right there. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
The school is the light green, correct?
Yeah, it's this Z-shaped space along here is the school.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, it's approximately 8,200, 8,250 square feet now, as opposed to the 7,500 that it was before. Retail has gotten a little bit smaller, school has gotten a little bit bigger.
Okay. Next slide.
The school's 1-4.
Excuse me?
School's 1-4.
Yes, correct. Was it one floor?
Oh, one floor, yes. This was a true second floor, just because of the issues with mezzanines. It was always as a second floor. We had retail and some service up here. We still do have a retail mezzanine and some service areas up here. It's a very limited floor plate. Most of the spaces are open to below, to the ground floor. This is the first parking level in the approved plan. And the proposed, a few things happened that caused the reduction in parking spaces from 77 to 70. We had to make the stair a bit more remote from the other stair. You can see it's all tucked in very tightly together here, so the stair moved out. And again, we had this shear wall issue, and that kind of put pressure on some of these parking spaces. And then additionally, on the fourth floor, which is our other level of parking, we had some additional mechanical space that we had not anticipated that pushed things around up here as well. So there is no minimum parking requirement. So again, the reduction from 77 to 70 is still fully compliant with the redevelopment plan. The internal changes to the plans, the residential plans, oh, I'm sorry, let me go to the amenity floor first. So this is the approved amenity. And this is the proposed amenity. I'll just toggle back and forth. You can see it's really quite similar. And then going up through the tower plans, these are internal revisions that are due to the change in the unit mix predominantly. Many of these units are even unchanged from the original approval, but some had to change with the unit mix change. And then the approved roof, you see the pool on the Sussex Street Tower and the amenity. Both towers had amenities in the original approval, and we had the Grand Street amenity tucked in the northwestern corner, which was not favorable for views. So we both reoriented the amenity space on the top of the Grand Street Tower, moved the pool to Grand Street, and also eliminated the amenity on the Sussex Street Tower entirely. So what you're seeing there now is just a planted roof, but not an occupied roof, and mechanical space. And that's the new view of the tower.
Okay. That's the end of our presentation. Yes, John?
I did notice in the agenda it mentioned changes to the flood proofing. I don't know if I meant to testify to the, I did bring a quick.
In one sentence? 2 sentences?
We had to revise the the flood proofing strategy to comply with DEP's.
And that's on the plan,
And that's
right?
on the plans as submitted.
Thank you.
Okay, council, that's your
no further
presentation?
questions.
Okay, anybody, any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All
Anything
right,
else?
Charles Height, just to testify briefly about the 2 variances.
Sure.
Deviations.
Should I leave this up? Or-
Sure.
Okay.
Leave it up there, that's fine.
Oh,
I'm not
all right.
I'm
Okay.
just here for notes.
Good evening. You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Yes, Charles Height, last name spelled H-E-Y-D-T.
Mr. Height, good evening. Your license is current?
Current and in good standing.
Excellent, good to hear. You're qualified. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll jump right in. It's minor technical deviation that's being requested tonight. So just for the board's benefit, the majority of the site, overwhelming majority, is in the Tidewater Basin redevelopment plan area. There's a small portion in the R2. Nothing with the proposed changes are affecting that portion in the R2. We did previously get relief for that property, that portion of the overall site in the R2 with respect to the rear yard, side yard, and lot coverage. Nothing changes with those requested variances. What we are citing is an overlap between the parking standards that call out curb cut dimensions as well as the loading. So the loading for the project does comply with the Jersey City standards as the redevelopment plan calls out, but the curb cuts, which kind of overlap and regulate any curb cut, do have some restrictions. So we are proposing 2 curb cuts where one is permitted, one along Marin, one along Sussex.
in this part of Jersey City, Marin is not necessarily the main boulevard. Grand Street is. We have 0 curb cuts along Grand Street, so where they're located, the fact that there are 2 is appropriate in my opinion. And they do serve different purposes. The one along Marin is the main vehicular access for the overall project. The one along Sussex is shared between the loading and vehicular access. So with respect to that, I do think the requested relief is appropriate. We have two curb cuts where one's permitted, and then we also have, for the loading zone, as Mr. Chevette said, proposing 21 feet in width where 18 feet's permitted. So an additional 3 feet to provide for the appropriate circulation for the loading. That's the deviation request. I do think it meets purposes A, E, G, and I as a project overall. We're taking a vacant site today, redeveloping in accordance with the redevelopment plan. For the loading, there's no substantial impairment to the general welfare. Again, it's being located on the side streets, appropriate location, distance from the intersections, and the width is intended for circulation. So there's no conflicts with loading trucks coming in and out of that second loading zone. There's, in my opinion, with this deviation, no impairment of the redevelopment plan as well. We're, in my opinion, advancing it, and these modifications only make the application stronger and address some of the local community concerns as well. That's what I have to offer. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Height. I have nothing. Anybody else?
No.
All right, thank you. Counsel?
Okay, so I do have one more witness. So the staff had requested that we provide the board with a presentation or testimony regarding the drop-off areas and pickup areas for the OLC school. Happy to do that. I have a presentation. If staff still wants me to do that, we will do it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I'm going to introduce a witness who's basically not an expert. He's going to be a fact witness, but he's been working with OLC. This is Mr. Rob Jinen. He's the Director of Development for the applicant. Rob?
Do I have to be sworn in?
You do have to be sworn in.
Testimony you give tonight's going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
For the record, can you state and spell your name?
Sure. Robert Giannone, Giannone.
Mr. Giannone, good evening.
Good evening.
So Rob, as Director of Development, we received the staff comments, and you've been planning this project for a very long time with the professional group, correct?
Correct.
But when we got those comments, you contacted OLC and explained to them that we needed to provide some information pursuant to this application as to how the school was going to run once it's into the space, correct?
That is correct, with the principal, vice principal, as well as the priest.
I don't know, who's the principal?
That is Madeline Martineau.
Okay. And I think one of the things she told you is she's been running the school for a very long time, and it's been there since 1912, so she knows what she's doing when she runs a school, correct?
Correct, 1911, but yes.
All right.
She hasn't been running the school since 1911.
No, the school's been there, I said, since 1912. But just to get back to the actual presentation, so you've been working with her and her staff for several months so that you could explain to the board what the plan is for running the school on a day-to-day basis there, correct?
Correct, a few years since preliminary site plan.
All right, and you've prepared this this slide, and she has seen this slide?
She has.
And she's participated in the preparation of it?
Correct, as well as a subsequent response letter.
Okay, right. And you're going to basically explain to the board what you and the OLC worked out in terms of operating the school on a day-to-day basis at this site, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So tell us what this slide is first, real quick.
Sure. So this
Want to
slide.
mark it, counsel?
Yeah.
Yes. A3 and Rob, you've prepared this, correct?
I have prepared this.
And what is this? Is it Google Maps?
This is a Google Map image markup.
Okay. And what's shown on it?
Sure. So this is a summary of the location, the various locations of the Our Lady of Czestochowa campus. Our building.
Council A3
2 slides?
for identification. Is it one? Is it 2 or 1?
Well, so the second slide is one of the slides from Mr. Zimmer's presentation.
So it's
One
2
slide.
slides.
2 slides?
Looks like
Your
it's 2
choice.
slides.
Your choice, council.
2 slides.
slides.
Dated today, November 25th, 2025.
Thank you.
A3.
So what you see in the center, in the orange highlight, is our property, 177 Grand Street. And then what you see in the other colored non-highlighted locations is various components of the OLC campus. So just dive in.
Yeah, so let's just be quick. So the building that's is squared off in blue on that sheet, number 2.
Yes. So
Go ahead.
So that is 180 Grand Street. That is where OLC currently houses their 40 students in the pre-K program. That pre-K program, it will be relocated into 177 Grand Street. And that is...
So it's going to be relocated into the space that you're providing them pursuant to this.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. And those students are going to be relocated, and then that building, 180 Grand Street, is going to be repurposed for non-classroom use. So no additional students will be occupying that space. The 40 students will be coming over to 177 Grand Street, and the additional square footage allows for approximately 40 to 50 additional pre-K students. So for a total of approximately 80 to 90 pre-K students in that program.
Correct. And what is the school's plan in terms of dropping off students? How do they plan to handle the drop-offs and the pickups of the students? First thing, there's an A and a B up there on that sheet, correct?
Correct.
So both of those access points will be used by the school for drop-offs and pickups, correct?
Correct. Based on the updated plans that were presented today, section or area A is the Grand Street, which will be the main drop-off point for the program. But what we have now provided is the Circle B, which is on Sussex Street, which will be a secondary means of pickup and drop-off for the pre-K program.
And what's your understanding as to how most of the students get to and from the school building?
So according to the school, who tracks the transportation of their students, approximately 80% of their students are pedestrians coming by foot, for the pre-K program, coming by stroller.
It's a neighborhood school.
It is a neighborhood downtown
According to the
urban
principal,
school.
correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, so what OLC anticipates is most of the drop-offs on both of those access points will be from people walking their kids up to the school entrance.
Correct, the vast majority.
And then what does OLC do once the kids get up to the entrance?
So once the kids get up to the entrance, at every single pickup and drop-off point, the school staffs each pickup point with 2 to 3 staff members to ensure a quick pickup and a quick admission, quick dismissal of their students.
And according to the school, if somebody does drive up to the school and they double park, what do the staff people do?
So the staff and the school prides itself on the communication with their parents. And so first of all, they've determined that they can utilize a secondary parking lot if there is a need for vehicular drop-offs just down the street on Sussex Street. But if anyone is double parking, they shuffle them around quickly, tell them where to go, where to park, and then the kids are led by their parents or guardians to the school from that parking location.
And that parking location, they already own that, and it's already a parking lot that they operate, correct?
Correct. It is underutilized. It's typically used for Sunday church. During the week, it's not utilized as much.
Okay. That about sum it up.
That about well, the last thing that I would say is that the school, they call themselves a well-oiled machine. I've witnessed it myself. Their staggered admission and dismissal program is, in terms of the various grades, helps to alleviate any pedestrian congestion along any of these sidewalks. We do have large sidewalks as well in front of both of these entrances to help alleviate that congestion as well. So the school is very confident that the plan that we now have in place with the dual locations for pickups and drop-offs will successfully allow the school to expand to 177 Grand.
And Rob, the principal provided you with, it's actually a letter to Tanya Marione, but it's really a summary of the school's plan for operating the space, correct?
That is correct.
And is this a copy of that letter?
This is a copy of that letter and signed, yes.
And is that basically what you just testified and the information that the principal and her staff provided you with orally?
Correct.
Okay, and based upon the exhibit A3?
Correct.
All right. I can offer this as A4 if it would please the board.
We just listened to the testimony of the witness.
Yeah, I think we're fine with the testimony. We have no way to authenticate that letter.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
So that's your testimony, sir?
Correct.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
Car is driving to the west on Sussex Street, heading towards drop-off, pickup point B.
Yes.
How and where is staff stopping them from
So in
double parking? Because
Understood.
I could use those staff, you know, in the Heights. I live around the corner from a school. I'd love to have that there, but, you know, walk me through that, how that happens.
Sure, absolutely. So first, in regards to the number of students, again, the school states that only 20% at the most is coming vehicular traffic-wise.
I don't know how they track that. How do
They're
they
enrolled.
determine?
So, I mean.
Yeah, but they don't enroll with a license plate or a driver's
No,
license.
but if you can, I mean, imagine that the number of people who live in the area. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So.
They don't know their
I've worked
future
in schools,
enrollments,
I was-
though, do they? Yet? Do they know their future enrollments?
I'm sure, actually, probably next year they do, correct?
They don't know the weather, though, for next year.
No, absolutely not. But in regards to what they do, so every door has 2 to 3 staff members, one of which is collecting them, the other is making sure that whoever is dropping them off is seen and moving past. They, at every point of entry, they want the turnover to be no more than 15 minutes for that particular age group to be entered into the building. So what they need to do is they need to move very swiftly, accept the students with one staff member, move the parents along with the other staff member. So I would say in location B, what they would do is likely be at the intersection of Van Voorst Street, Van Voorst and Sussex Street, and ensure that no vehicular traffic is coming down Sussex Street itself. And if anyone is driving along here, maneuver them back down to the parking lot, which is at Warren and Sussex Street.
Now, who gives them the authority to direct traffic on a public street?
Well, I don't think they direct traffic, but I think what I think the understanding is they try to talk to the parents and communicate with them and say, we don't appreciate it if you're double parking and backing up traffic, so park in our lot and walk.
And it's a private school?
Private school, I believe it is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a parent paying that tuition is going to be okay with hearing that?
Well, rules are rules. You got to follow the rules. And if you're enrolled in the school, I think parents will probably follow the rules.
Okay.
If they don't.
Well, let me just say, from my experience in helping St. John the Baptist in the Journal Square section to accommodate a school that was larger than Our Lady of Chesterhover on Huron and St. Paul's, which still is problemsome. They set up cones and they use building security. And if parents don't cooperate, they've called law enforcement because they have traffic guards on Kenyon Boulevard. But the school security, by and large, moves them through very quickly.
So and I know exactly where you mean, and I know that there's issues over there. My concern is Huron and St. Paul's are through streets. Sussex is not a through street. That's my biggest concern here, is a
The
car
other
gets
thing-
in there, how do they get out?
Right. Well, I mean, so you, I don't think, have spoken to the percentage that would go tee up at A and B. So if Our Lady of Chesterhover has about 450 students enrollment at this point, from what I've seen, you figure if 80%, you're looking at maybe 80 students who come in by vehicular traffic. Now, if that's staggered and you're using 2 points of entry, the rate of success, I would imagine would be pretty high.
But Councilman Lipsky, I think the one thing that we were saying is at this location, there will only be between 80 and 90 students because the other students that you mentioned are at the other locations, so it doesn't affect 177 grand. This,
Yeah, that's
this
correct.
building will only have between 80 and 90, what is it, kindergarten?
Pre-K,
kids?
correct.
Pre-K.
Okay.
So it's much smaller. So, but if your percentages are correct, then you're talking about maybe 10 or 15 cars.
Correct.
Well, not my percentages. I'm saying if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, no, no,
Percentages
you're-
we anticipate. We're
Right.
talking about.
You're absolutely
I was
right.
saying your math, it would be
So
so
then the
correct.
buildings, so the entry points are not connected. So A will be the upper grades and B would be the.
No, so, and.
It's all for the
and
same 80 to 90
I'll jump
students.
over
It's all
to-
for the pre-K kids, both entrances.
So they're
Because
not
it's really
all
one
coming-
space.
They're not all coming in on A and B. They're gonna be a certain amount coming on one side, certain amount coming on the other side.
That's our understanding.
Correct.
Right.
And they're assigned to a side?
Well, I guess if you live on that side of the neighborhood, why would you walk all the way
In all,
around
yeah,
to come
correct.
to the other side of the
It
building?
may be a convenience thing. With that said, however, if the school, if the school feels like there is a much more successful orientation, perhaps A is used for access, B is used for egress, that type of thing. The 2 points of entry really provide for that flexibility of learning the students and pivoting down the road if necessary.
Council, do we have a representative of the school, or is all the testimony going to be based on what we understand from the school?
Well, it's more of, it's an understanding, but we've spent a lot of time speaking with the school about how they're going to operate the space, and this is what they told us. We do not have a representative of the school with us tonight.
Can I piggyback off of your question?
Sure.
But they do have a plan, and they are, a neighborhood school, and they are, our understanding is they want to make this work, and they understand that they have to work, with traffic and with the neighborhood to make this work. They're already there across the street. There's already 50 students across the street, and they've been operating that facility for a very long time.
Yeah, but that has two-way lanes, four-way lanes, and through traffic. I have a question there for you.
Oh, wait, it's right
just-
across the street from this site.
Well, but council,
I'm sorry.
Go
if
ahead.
I misunderstood, I misunderstood. This is for pre-K only,
Correct.
Correct.
and the capacity is essentially to double the enrollment of the pre-K class.
From 40.
From what's across the street currently? From
40. And then
to 80.
Correct, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
And so the blue on the is what's being used now. That's
There's
going to
only
be
40 students there,
yeah,
and we're talking
gonna
about
be
80
decommissioned.
across the street.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner, I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you. I just have a question then. We talked earlier. There was a curb cut on Sussex Street for the loading dock, for loading and unloading.
Correct.
How close is that to the entrance of that
It's past it.
those pre-K students and strollers and stuff coming into the building while other vehicles, trucks and stuff are loaded and unloaded
So.
into that building?
So it's approximately, I would say, about 50 feet away from the entryway. The curb cut is here. The entryway is over here. But again, in regards to the school's usage and in terms of standard pickup and drop-off time, if the school does need to react to this location being congested due to UPS or FedEx going to this particular drop-off at this time, and it's better to utilize the Grand Street component, then they could utilize the Grand Street
Okay,
component.
that's getting, so basically, that street right there, Sussex Street, it's basically going into a dead end.
Correct. A two-way street coming back out, though.
Comes back out.
Yeah.
So you would have to go into the loading dock area to be able to come back out and go back out that street.
No, not necessarily.
Cars will be able to circle around. Question there is, and I've seen this before, maybe it's a suggestion, maybe I have. Why aren't they closing the street?
Because
Students
directly
are
across.
coming in and students are a time of entering and time of leaving.
Directly across the street is another residential building and their parking garage
They
entrance.
can't close. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
It's a public street.
It's public street. I have Gary Dean, who's our traffic expert here. I think it might help if he comes up and testifies.
I just have one more comment.
So,
maybe.
well, one more quick question before we have somebody else testify. And I guess this would be a question to the staff. Maybe they could work with the planning staff of any safety devices in that loading dock area, allowing teachers and parents knowing that something is going to come out of that loading dock while parents are bringing their pre-K students into the building. There will be some kind of light, some kind of device that we could have that if that garage door does open, or for some reason somebody wants to go in or out, there'll be some kind of signal to allow the parents to know that as a safety precaution.
Yeah, we've done that on
Talking
numerous
about
buildings.
children, some of them might be running, and I see some of these kids on scooters, and they're amazing. They go fast, so.
It's preschool though, Ed.
That's preschool.
It's preschool.
This is preschool.
Yeah, I know. I know, I'm talking about preschool.
Okay.
But just in case.
Understood.
Is that possible to work with the staff?
Understood.
Yeah, it's possible. Yes.
Council, do we have a long-term lease with the school for this space?
We do.
And
So we purchased the property from the school, and so what we've agreed to with the school is that we're actually going to be providing them with a condominium for the space itself. So it won't be a long-term lease. It will actually end up being ownership for OLC.
Okay. Very different.
And is there anything that says or doesn't say that it's got to be pre-K versus any other grade?
It's defined as a nursery school in the contract.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Commissioner Wick, you have a
Yeah,
question?
just one quick, I guess, back to slide 1. The lot 4 being the backup plan, I just don't know if I see that as like a viable option with parents being shuttled down to a space, being late to school and all of that. I just don't see that as a realistic option.
Sure. So, in speaking with the school, they know that every single parent will make a mistake, and there will, probably be a little bit of a learning curve. But they pride themselves on, you do it once, you learn from it, and you're either A, not late, or B, you utilize this as a backup plan.
Okay, understood.
They already use it though, correct? The lot is already used by the school.
Correct.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just one last thing, Jim.
Sure,
So,
I don't know-
Just for clarity's sake, is
Yeah.
on that B entrance, we're talking that is exclusively the pre-K, the Tykes program, right?
A and B are
A and B.
A and B.
Correct.
So it's a split.
It's only the 80 to 90 students. Correct.
Right, and so they have the other campuses, the lower school and the upper school.
Correct.
And so the A and B, so they currently have 40 pre-K, or,
Correct.
and so if they go to 80, let's say, right, that's their goal, say even 100, but say 80. And if they're saying 80% of their experience is that most of the people come from the neighborhood, walk them in, then walk down, get on the path, or go to the ferry or whatever, right? And so if it's 20%, that means 16 people are coming in vehicularly,
Correct.
right? So, I mean, it's manageable.
I get it. I want to know
Alright.
how it's managed and,
Yeah, and let me say this, is somebody who's lived next to a Catholic school, and that's become a charter school, and was a councilman on this board, and has worked with them, it's been an iteration of correction.
Sure.
There's no one set plan, I mean, this isn't Pope Leo the 14th, speaking infallibly about parking. It's going to be a conversation, they're going to be, other people coming through, and they're not going to want to, if they're looking to grow, they're They're not looking to, mow down kids to get there. OLC's preschool has kid killed, story on page 2, no, I can imagine, so. Anyway, I've spoken.
Well, we do have Gary Dean with us. He's the traffic consultant for the entire project. If the board's not comfortable with what they heard, we can bring him up. But if you're all comfortable,
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think we need more traffic testimony.
All
I
right.
think
thank
at
you.
least my concerns are
All right,
put to rest.
that concludes our presentation. Then.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, let's open it up for public comment. If anybody's here from public, if you'd like to comment, please come
Seeing
on
no
up.
public, I move to close the public.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Joe, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, just one point of clarification. I understand that there's the main building and the nursery school. I just want to confirm that the students will not be crossing Grand Street to go to the other buildings, or would they just be kept in that 177 Grand Street building? Okay, great. Thank you for confirming. So in staff's review of the application, it found that all the proposed amendments comply with the redevelopment plans, development standards, and in reviewing the variance application, it sees no significant impact in public health and welfare, as well as the Tidewater Basin redevelopment plan. And it appears to kind of provide smooth egress and ingress for those looking to park and those looking to load and collect refuse. So as I just want to confirm one more time that the applicant agrees to the conditions stated in the staff memo dated November 5th, 2025.
Agreed.
Great. With that being said, staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P 2024-0080 as presented to our board tonight.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded numerous times for approval.
All right. Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Gongadin.
I'm really happy to see that the space has been increased for the purpose of the school. It's much, much needed in the downtown area. So my vote is aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis. Commissioner Lipsky.
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Gangadin that this is an innovative and a needed project. I mean, I've helped the Montessori school with Grace Jolly and has seen their explosion from a pre-K all the way upward to a high school. So I wholeheartedly vote aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Torres. Commissioner Patel. And Chairman Langston.
So I'm going to lead off with the curb cut. I have no problem with the curb cut. I think it's within reason. It's de minimis in my observation. Like Commissioner Lipsky said, the parking around schools and drop-offs, it's a work in progress. We want to make sure that it's as close to manageable right from jump. So I think, my fears are set aside here. I think it'll work. But again,
You're going to have to deal with Principal Martin now. Pretty tough lady, I hear.
I hear. So with that said, I think it's a great change for, a great addition to downtown, and the school's needed, so it's an aye.
All right, motion carries 8-0.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your time, as always, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Council. You too.
Happy Thanksgiving, Council.
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break, everybody.
Yay.
Body, please. Let's call item 10 is case P2025-0232 is a site plan amendment for 20 Christopher Columbus Drive.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Robert
Evening,
Vertibello
Counsel.
from the law firm of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant. We're excited to be here this evening. This is a site plan amendment. This was originally approved last year. It is the Harborside 4 property, which is down near the Exchange Place Path Station. As we were preparing, or as the applicant was preparing construction drawings, there are some modifications that need to be made, which is typical for a building of this nature. I have two witnesses here this evening that'll take the board through those modifications. The building plan itself remains the same, 800 units. The parking count has, from a self-parking perspective, as you'll hear from our witnesses, has been reduced slightly from 392 to 294. However, should there be the need, we do have the ability to have a valet parking program, and we did submit a letter, which is part of the file, which has been uploaded to the portal from our parking operator as far as the details for our valet parking program. But because of that, and as you'll hear, there is a minor variance that arises because of that. There were 4 variances that were originally granted for this project. 2 pertaining to street trees, the number of street tree placement. There's a slight modification, as you'll hear from our professional planner this evening, as far as those 2 variances. There was another variance for lighting, which is not changing, and then there'll be the minimum drive aisle width, which is an additional variance. This is a notice case, so we did submit notice. I have the affidavit and proof of mailing that I'll submit as Exhibit A.
Thank you, counsel.
Chairman, see the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the application Harborside Plaza 4. It's 20 Columbus Drive, Block 11603, Lot 29 here in the city. I've had the opportunity to review it. It does appear to be in order. It will be marked as A1 for purpose of the record.
Thank you, counsel.
And then we also have presentation slides that we'll mark as A2. It's approximately 10 slides and dated today. And we will submit copies following our presentation this evening.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll swear in my first witness.
You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Yes, my name is Frank Fusaro, Frank Fusaro.
Mr. Fasaro, good evening. Your license is current tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
And Mr. Fusaro, you're a member of Handel Architects, is that correct?
That's right.
And you're familiar with the plans that are being discussed here this evening?
I am.
And can you please take the board through the changes from the initial approval in 2024 to what's being proposed here this evening?
Great. Yes.
Please proceed.
Okay. So as Robert described, the changes are relatively minor. This is a view of the initial approval compared against the proposed amendment, showing the changes in the building. There's a slight reduction in the overall building height of approximately 31 feet. You could see that at the top of the building. The base of the building has been reduced by about 10 feet. And the middle portion of the tower, the bustle we call it, is approximately 18 feet lower. The ground floor plan, some changes, additional changes to the massing include the space above the drop-off. We've increased that 2 stories to take advantage of some unused space that was beneath the ramp prior. We've added an approximately 715 square foot retail space that's accessible from Hudson Street and also the building lobby, and a secondary entrance, created a through-block lobby from Hudson Street to Green with an entrance on Green Street. And then finally on this slide, we've reduced the elevator core with our elevator analysis by 1 for the lower portion of the building, the ground through the 37th floors. These are just 2 of the elevations. The Pearl Street elevation on the left in red showing that double height space for the porte-cochere drop off to allow more light in, and the west elevation of the Green Street elevation, the new entrance to from Green Street to the building lobby in the middle of the block there, also shown in red. As Robert mentioned, we've reduced the number of parking spots in the garage from 392 to 294, but are keeping the opportunity to have the 392 spaces through a valet program. Both of the plans here show the self-park with an overlay of the valet. So this is the third level of the garage on the left. So you come up the ramp, it's a significant distance up the ramp, so significant space for queuing and getting cars off of Pearl Street. That all gets managed in the garage. And there's a loading and queuing zone at the third floor of the project where the attendant is located. The attendant would take your car in the valet scenario and move it to the spot. And then the other place, the other floor is the 7th floor. We just wanted to flag the typical aisles are two-way aisles, 22 feet. We have one instance in the building where the building structure above the tower structure is impeding on the 22 feet. So that's shown there as that 12-foot kind of one-way area. We've eliminated any parking in that zone so that, there's no backing out there. There's only one parallel parking space in that 12-foot portion of the drive.
And Mr. Fusaro, that's your understanding of where the variance for minimum drive aisle is coming from, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, actually, we thought that it might not be a variance since it was only a one-way drive at 12 feet in that area.
So, Council, could I ask?
Sure.
So you say that you dropped it about 100 parking spaces, and yet they're going to maintain the right to keep upward of 394 with valet. How is that done economically? Like, do you keep the spaces, and if you need more, you do it, or is it?
I'm just an architect. I'm not the operator, but the operator, I think, an operations person is here tonight if you want more information on that. But I think the idea conceptually is that, if there proves to be a need for the additional spots, that the garage could easily be transferred to a valet operation.
Okay, so it's not that there would be empty space.
We're going to start with
like 100 spaces.
With the 294 spots as self-park.
Basically, it'll be a reorientation of the existing as-built space. So the garage is built as it is with 294 spaces. That area can then be converted into accommodating more space. It's not that we need extra space. It's just a reorganization of the existing space.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And then there have been slight changes to the apartment configurations on the typical floors. On the left-hand side is the typical lower floor of the tower, and the right-hand side, the typical upper floor. We've created 36 three-bedroom apartments by combining some units, whereas prior we had 0 3-bedrooms in the project. We've also reduced the number of studios and 2 bedrooms and increased the number of 1-bedrooms. So the new unit mix is shown there, but we haven't adjusted the total unit count. It remains at 800 apartments in the project. And finally, some small details on the facade. After selection and refinement of the mechanical system, we've been able to eliminate some, big louvers on the left-hand side there in the initial approval, and we're replacing them with a slot vent for this energy-efficient heat pump that we're using for the project. So we're just have that little gray area below the glass or below the operable window on the right-hand side now. And then similarly in the upper tower, using a similar system, this one not, mounted against the glass, but mounted behind the column. We're utilizing the column pier with perforations to allow air in and out to the mechanical units in the apartments. So we're eliminating all those louvers on the left-hand side image, and we're just going to have the operable window, the glass wall, and the spandrel glass spandrel.
Is that a different mechanical system?
No, it's the same. We were just contemplating the way to get air to the units. So this one now sits behind. It's a similar unit. It's a vertical orientation instead of a horizontal orientation. Sits behind the column, and it gets its air directly from the column instead of beneath the glass wall. It's a different kind of heat pump in the upper tower versus the lower tower. The lower tower sits flush against the glass. That's why we have the slot vent. the upper tower, the units sit behind the column enclosures and get air from that tall, skinny vertical on the right-hand side, which is perforated metal, which allows air in and out of the unit.
We've been looking for this for years.
Yeah, this is a really great solution.
Yeah,
right?
where you been?
Really nice. Get rid of those P-tacks.
So the slot vent, the unit itself sits behind what, a blank panel?
A spandrel glass panel. In
Okay.
the left-hand side, the sort of darker blue is glass, but intended to read as part of the glass opening. And then we've worked with the manufacturer on the detail of this to create a slot at the bottom with a segregation of the slot that allows for both intake and exhaust through the same slot.
Interesting.
It's the new standard in the city.
I agree. Cost-wise, is there
Oh, geez.
big difference?
They're a little more expensive than a P-tack.
Okay. Enough that a developer in a hot retail or a hot real estate scene can afford to put them in every building from now on?
I don't know, you might want to ask the developer.
I'm
that,
going to ask
but
the
I would-
room because I love this idea. I hate PTAC units.
I would say yes.
Yeah, no, it's widely known. Okay. All
And
right.
I think that's really concludes my piece of the
Right,
presentation.
and all the other building materials are the same.
Everything remains the same that we were, that was
was
filed
previously
prior
approved,
and
yes.
Previously approved, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That, unless there are questions, that's our architectural testimony.
No, any questions, anybody? No. And the heat pumps are FM listed?
Oh, Factory Mutual? I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm sure they are.
All right.
But they're made by an Italian manufacturer called Epoca.
Oh, exotic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exotic.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
My next witness is our professional planner, Charles Height, who I believe was sworn in earlier. this
Warren,
evening.
and I believe is still qualified to be here tonight.
More qualified now.
Go ahead.
So I will dive right in. So what we have up on the screen are two aspects of variances from the forestry standards that are changing. We did have a modification on the street tree count. Previously, we had 21 street trees proposed. We did have to reduce that to 18. The intent there is to allow for more access at primary entrances to the overall building. 34 were required, just to remind the board, that's a standard based off of the amount of frontage. The overall project has a holistic improvement along the streetscape, and I just would want to call attention to the southwest corner along Columbus and Hudson. That's the main pedestrian entrance that has a lot of the added landscaping elements. So it will be a nice, very prominent, well-landscaped corner of the property, as well as all the other facades. The other aspect for street trees is with respect to the spacing. I think this is a very clever and more appropriate strategy. Instead of requiring the spacing at the trunk, we actually looked at what species and the canopies there are at mature height, and then we adjusted to base the canopies, and that kind of gave us the residual distances between each tree. So they are spaced appropriately given the species and still optimize the canopy. So hopefully that reference was understood. Previously, that spacing was at a minimum of 13 feet. In certain instances where 15 feet is required, it's been reduced to 12 feet in specific instances based on the species. There are also sections where we comply with the 15 feet. Moving ahead, I should say with respect to the bulk variances, all the changes, we did a code review for the proposed amendment. They all still comply, specifically with the parking. In this redevelopment plan, Exchange Place North, it's a parking maximum. So even by maintaining, and even if we went with the standard parking layout, it still complies with that maximum parking requirement. Just hopefully the board would appreciate that. The lighting and signage that were previously approved with respect to the proposal and deviations have not changed. So there's no changes or increases in terms of any of the relief needed. What we did look at is on the 7th floor with the parking, there's a couple aspects that we wanted to integrate. One, we did introduce a valet station that if it was needed for a valet attendant to receive vehicles, that was integrated into the plans. And then also, at one point, we do have a pinch point, and that's, I think, if we could get, do we have a screen just to, so again, this is on the 7th floor on the right. You can see the 12-foot one-way. This redevelopment plan specifically has a statement, all drive aisles need to be 22 feet. It doesn't recognize that if you have a valet scenario or full circulation elsewhere, you can have a reduced standard. So, or a one-way, you can have less than 22 feet. The two things to point out is every vehicle space, from a standard vehicle space that a tenant would have to navigate on this floor, can be reached with a 22-foot drive aisle. So there, from a circulation standpoint, a safety standpoint, every space can be reached with sufficient drive aisle. The one-way is actually helpful for the valet. So it's a physical improvement to help valet circulation on this floor, where as you stage vehicles, they don't need to have a K-turn movement, they can pass through. So again, another nuanced, very specific design improvement. I don't see any sort of detriment to providing a 12-foot one-way drive aisle in this particular location. This is the only instance that it occurs in any of the 3 levels of parking. As I stated in my prior testimony, I do think we're furthering purpose A, E, and I, specifically with the streetscape design along the 4 frontages. We're promoting a desirable visual environment, and I think that remains. And I think with the curb cut, with the drive aisle, we're still promoting purpose A, which is guiding appropriate development. With respect to the negative criteria, everything I previously stated to support these variances holds true. The project, in my opinion, has been engineered, improvements were input, and on balance, I think we were really conscious of not trying to wholly reduce the parking, even though we're still staying with 800 units. So I think that's why we offered the valet scenario, but obviously that's a demand thing for marketing as the building comes online. So it's my direct testimony. Be happy to.
One quick question, just for clarity of the record. The variances that were approved as part of the first approval and the variances that are part of this approval, they do not trigger the inclusionary zoning ordinance, is that correct?
It's a decrease in residential square footage, so no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Height. I have no questions. Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Council, anything else?
That concludes our presentation here this evening. We have no further witnesses.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, let's open it up for public comment. If anybody's here from the public that wants to comment on this
Seeing no public, I
application,
move
come on
to
up.
close the public.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Cam, you're handling this for Ben?
Yes, Chairman. Planning staff asked that the applicant and their attorney agree to the conditions stated in Mr. Jordan's planning staff memo dated November 24th of this year.
Yes, we have reviewed that, and those conditions are acceptable.
Okay, planning staff agrees with the professional planner testimony provided by Mr. Height. The variances will be mitigated with condition 3 of the recommended conditions, which would involve a payment in lieu of, and Michael DeChantia, the forester, was a review agent on this application, and I know he had conversations with them, so planning staff feels comfortable recommending approval with conditions.
Okay, thanks, Cam.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0232 as presented to our board tonight.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded for approval.
All right, Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
I think the variances are de minimis and the modifications being sought are making a better building, so I vote aye.
Commissioner Gongadin.
Yeah, I think the variances requested is minimal and it's not detriment. The modification makes the building much better. My vote is aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Good project, I vote aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor with conditions.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Just give me 1 second, everybody, to discuss something with staff. Okay, sorry, everybody. I am just going to make a couple changes to the agenda. I'm going to get a few things up front right now. So I would like to call item 13 is case P2025-0250. This is a redevelopment plan amendment requested by City Council.
Well, while Matt's setting up, I was not here at the beginning to be sworn in.
You swear to testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Don't touch anything. Did I just had the papers. Yeah. Okay. So some way of background, City Council passed an ordinance November 12th, which was not that long ago, proposing to change the medical district. Their proposal was to remove assisted living and senior housing and to change the height from 10 stories, 100 feet to basically 5 stories. The height that they are proposing matches the height in the RC2 zoning, exactly. So they referred it back to planning, and it is going to be done at second reading at their December meeting, their December 10th meeting. So this is our report in the meantime. The medical district is actually in 2 places in the city, although the one you've heard the most about recently was Christ Hospital. Christ Hospital is on the left. Everything in the purple is actually the medical district, or the transparent purple, and the circle is the hospital proper, right? So you can, I don't know if you can tell, but the northernmost part of the circle is, well, you can see that, yeah. So that's actually the hospital, the parking garage, and the office building. But maybe the other part of the medical district you are not as familiar with is the Greenville one, and that is on Kennedy Boulevard, and that is over here. That is the hospital proper. For their Greenville Hospital has been taken over by R.J. Barnabas. I don't know if it's actually called Greenville Hospital anymore, even though I drive by it probably twice a day. And right behind it is an assisted living senior facility. And so the medical district encompasses both in the Heights and both in Greenville. And the zoning that you saw before applies to both these districts, broad brush. Historically, Palisade Avenue, so the medical district was created in 2000 under the 2000 master plan. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But before that, the Christ Hospital area was zoned R4, and hospitals were permitted use, and they were zoned for 10 stories, 100 feet. The zone in general was a 10-story, 100 feet zone. Or other residential uses, and they were down to 4 stories, but those are townhouses, et cetera, which we are already used to kind of seeing at 4 stories. But I think the primary purpose here is really just to get a background on how we got to the 10 stories, 100 feet that you see in the medical district. Differently, I think that's a word, In Greenville, it was the R2. And so in the R2, hospitals was not a permitted use, but obviously that hospital exists. The Greenville Hospital and the Christ Hospital have existed previously to any zoning in the late 1800s. And in the R2, the only thing that was permitted, the R2 became the R1, so it's really just a 4-story, 40-foot zone. The 2000 master plan saw the R4 and the R2 and saw that there was a mix of these residential uses, the hospital uses. And its suggestion at the time was that these hospital uses or these very high impact uses were bleeding into residential areas, and that there was a need to separate out kind of the 24/7 idea of a hospital, an emergency room, even an assisted living facility where maybe an emergency call needs to be responded to, and to separate those out from residential uses. And so their response was to create a very primarily, clearly only hospital zone and separate out the residential zones for it. And that's how we got kind of the medical zone that we're looking at today. What you should notice is that medical zone today does not permit any residential uses except for senior housing, which is a residential use, but it is a specific residential use, right? The master plan that you are the most familiar with, the 2020 master plan, which is this board's master plan, really kind of took the medical zoning and said, what has happened is basically development has stagnated because residential development is not permitted. And realistically, this population in Jersey City is getting older, and the services that that population needs are for more critical care should be services that you can access either by walking or closer to public transit and not always constantly relying on a car in order to get there. And seeing that some of our more critical facilities like Greenville and like Christ Hospital are in places where, one, you can get to easily by public transit, whether it's bus or light rail-ish. Yeah, I know. But also they're just in high density areas that you can walk to. And so the recommendation was to allow for residential to kind of bolster back up the redevelopment of the area to really have inclusive residential uses near these critical facilities. But the way the master plan recommended to do it was as an overlay. And that was through the small vision area along with the land use element. The small vision area had kind of seen that within the Christ Hospital area, because the surrounding area was already zoned RC2, that it should be RC2 with a medical overlay. So you still had the ability to have those medical uses, to have the 10 stories, to have the hospital, but you also had the ability to develop residential properties. Based on the master plan and what the city council proposed, we took a look at it and we made some suggestions based on that. First of all, I don't necessarily believe that the city council's proposal meets the master plan 2020 as it's written. I believe that the 2020 master plan really considered the fact that residential should be mixed with these medical uses, and the way to do it was to not remove the uses, remove the uses from those areas, but to encourage them to be developed together. Senior housing itself, we talk about the purposes of zoning and we talk about the MOUL, and I'm sure you've heard many of us drone on about A and B. One of the purposes of of zoning, one of the original purposes of the MOUL and the zoning was senior housing. So senior housing has always been identified as an inherently beneficial use, along with assisted living facilities, hospitals, almost everything that you see listed on the screen right now. So the master plan really, again, calls out an aging population that needs to be next to critical care, and the way that it was considered to be doing it is to make sure that is through an overlay. So based on the master plan's recommendation and based on what we were reviewing, we removed the assisted living facility and the senior housing facility from the permitted principal uses. And included assisted living as an accessory incidental use. So what does that mean in practice? It means that it has to be in the same building as one of the above uses. It can't be in a separate structure because then you'd have two primary structures, or two principal structures on a lot. So it has to live within a hospital or a rehab center. We continued on with the city council's removal of senior housing, and I can kind of explain why in detail, but senior housing is permitted anywhere residential is permitted. That's within our code, it's within our supplemental zoning, and if you look through all of our districts, you'll see that we permit senior housing. So senior housing is permitted within a plethora of places throughout the city already. So removing it as a principal use from the medical district when it is permitted in the RC2, in the R1, et cetera, doesn't really do too much of a harm. But keeping the assisted living facility, because if you're aware of assisted living, it is a variety of things. It can be, yes, for an older adult who is not as independent, or it can be for somebody who has pretty severe Alzheimer's and needs to have memory care. So the spectrum of what assisted living actually is can be very medical at some times. So to remove it from, to remove it in totality didn't mesh with what the medical district purpose actually is. And then we went a step further and proposed the medical district overlay, which is exactly what the master plan proposes. Within the medical district overlay, we focus down on the medical uses. So you can see that we've permitted hospital, medical offices. We don't have senior housing or assisted living as the principal permitted uses, but we do list them as conditional uses. And as conditional uses, they are shrunk down to the 5 stories, 55 feet. The uses above, hospital, medical office, ambulatory facilities, are still the 10 stories, 100 feet. So in the medical, we are not proposing to change. We are not recommending to go from 10 stories to 5 stories. And now this is go back a little bit to the R4 and the R2. Greenville Medical District was zoned from then 10 stories to 5 stories in 2014. So we went back after 2000 and we rezoned the Greenville Medical District from 10 to 5 with the acknowledgement that everything in that area was pretty much 5. And if you're like, why was everything in that area pretty much 5? Because historically that area was R2. And when you look at Christ Hospital's area, that area historically was going to be 100 feet, 10 stories. So the picture of how or why one is going to be 10 and one would be 5 is kind of clear based on the history and how it developed over time. We are not proposing to change those heights. We believe that the heights that were proposed number one, I think primarily, I'm not that interested in discouraging development of a hospital. If the hospital needs developed vertically, since we are limiting, which I'll show you in a second, the actual amount of zoning that we are using for medical, the hospital has to develop vertically if it's going to actually continue to develop. Greenville will remain at 5. The master plan also suggested that senior housing, I don't know if you remember, but in the R1, senior housing used to have a different height standard. It was 7 stories. So this master plan recommended that we match senior housing bulk with whatever the residential bulk for the area was. So to keep senior housing and assisted living down at the 5 stories within the medical overlay, which the underlying zoning would be the RC2, matches the master plan exactly, which is to say, yes, we want senior housing, but we think it should be in the same size buildings of the residential buildings we allow. And so now we are also proposing to tighten up the medical district. The first line that I showed you the hospital proper. And so the purple on the Christ Hospital slide, which is the slide on the left, really just is the same area as the hospital proper, the office building, and the parking deck. Everything to the north is RC2, but you can see the dashed purple. That means that's the medical overlay. So medical will still be permitted there, but the base zoning, the RC2 zoning, is what will be the primary zoning there. And that is what the master plan recommended. The Greenville Hospital, if we flip to the other side, we kept the Greenville Hospital again, the hospital proper, I'd say the solid purple, the M district, the RC2, and then you can see again the purple dashed for the medical overlay. And some of that is R1. The master plan really didn't focus that much on the Greenville Hospital area, but on the ground, the areas that we are flipping from medical to R1 match the R1 district zoning. I can flip back so you can kind of just see from the transparent picture, you can kind of see a little bit better that you've got some smaller houses over here. These are the things that are fronting on Kennedy Boulevard and some of the smaller houses. And then this is already across from the RC2, so this is just an infill of the RC2. That is what's existing. And that is what we are proposing. Again, it's a more concentrated medical district, and it is meeting the master plan by allowing the residential zoning, but creating the overlay. I also believe that our recommendation meets the intention of what the city council was trying to do, which was to limit the height on the senior housing. That's it. That was a lot, but
So, Tanya, I have to jump in here.
yeah.
I don't know that we should be, no offense, a lot of work went into this. This isn't city council's proposal.
Correct.
So we're here to give our recommendation to city council on their proposal.
Correct.
Can we go outside of that and come in with our own proposal? Because, I mean, we can't ignore the fact that we're 7 days out from an election and that there's a whole new administration possibly, you know, without a single face that's been there before.
Well, so the charge of this board is to review the proposal of the city council and determine consistency with the master plan. It sounds like planning has looked at it and feels that this is consistent with the master plan. So the next step is, what is city council proposing that is different than what planning believes would be consistent with the master plan? That's the way to frame it, Chairman.
I just want to make sure that we focus on what city council's proposing. And that's, you know, that's really what our vote should be based on in the first place. I'm not saying that we can't consider this as well as a floor amendment, I guess, right? Is that what we're talking about?
So at caucus, when this was not introduced by us, it was introduced by council, but city planning was there to answer any questions. And the conversation between myself and council at the time felt very much like, I was very honest with them that I did not believe the proposal met the master plan goals or recommendations. And their response was, well, then kind of tell me what does. And so I essentially promised this, which was like, I will highlight that I do not believe your proposal meets the master plan, but I believe this meets the master plan. They're in I wouldn't say a bind, but I think on December 10th, they have the choice, I think, or they have no choice, but they have to vote up or down their ordinance as is. Because if they flip to this, it goes back to first reading.
But what is their ordinance and how does it differ from this?
So this is their ordinance. Their ordinance is just the changes to the medical district, no map changes, and no additions of the overlay. So their proposal is to remove senior housing and assisted living as principal permitted uses or permitted uses, period, and to change the height of the entire M district, which would, again, is the Greenville and Christ Hospital, even though Greenville is already at 5 stories, to the 5 stories height limitations that you see right now.
All right, so let's unpack all of this just so we can understand it and attempt to send a comprehensive position back to council. So council is talking, city council is talking about, here's the M medical district. We want to remove assisted living and senior housing from being permitted uses in the medical district, and we want to reduce the height permitted in the medical district down to 55 feet, 5 stories. Is that an accurate reading of what their proposal is?
Dead accurate.
Okay. And the presentation that you just gave, as I understood it, essentially said, in your professional opinion, that does not match with the 2020 master plan. It's not consistent with the master plan because, with respect to at least Christ Hospital, that's 100 feet. It's always been 100 feet. It's been that way since prior to zoning in the late 1800s. And from a planning perspective, if what you're trying to do is remove assisted living and senior housing from being principal permitted uses in the M medical zone, the way to do that consistently with the master plan is to do it in the manner in which you described of bringing in the R2, doing the medical overlay, and all of the reasons that you've just stated. So, Chairman, the charge to the board is the removal of assisted living and senior housing from the M medical zone and the limitation on the height of 5 feet and 55 feet consistent or inconsistent with the master plan? What the director has done is given you the professional opinion that that is not consistent with the master plan, but here's how you can make it consistent with the master plan, and she laid that out through her testimony. So the board doesn't have to accept the opinion of the director. The board can say, we don't agree, we think this is consistent with the master plan, send it back to the council for adoption as written. The board could say, we agree with the director, we don't believe this to be consistent as proposed, here's how you can make it consistent. Or the board can say, we don't believe that this is consistent, we find it to be inconsistent, and send it back to the council that way. So the board's got 3 options. The council has its own options as to how it can proceed in an attempt to either adopt the ordinance as proposed with no recommendation, or I shouldn't say no recommendation, a recommendation from this body that it is inconsistent with the master plan. They can overcome that. There's a way to do it. We won't go into the details of how they do their work, but they can overcome it, or you can pick and choose how you want to proceed. So I think the testimony of the director is very clear in her professional opinion of how you can address the issue being raised by the council to be consistent with the master plan.
Santo, if I may.
You got to turn yours on. Hit your button.
If I may. So City Council is considering 5-story for Christ Hospital.
For the entire
For the
medical
entire.
district. Yep.
Our master plan states 10-story. What is the legal ramification if we do send it back to City Council as is?
If this body determines that the proposed changes are consistent with the master plan, then the city council can go ahead and adopt the ordinance with the recommendation of this body that it's consistent with the master plan. If it is our recommendation that the ordinance is inconsistent with the master plan, then the council has to go through the procedure to adopt it as being inconsistent with the master plan.
So I'll just put back to 2020. This isn't language that I cherry picked or to be in my favor or not. This is the language if you did a search in our master plan for senior housing or medical district. These are the three kind of passages, and if you look in the staff report, the language is even more specific, but this is what the master plan refers to for the medical district and even senior housing.
And Chairman, just for total clarification, part of this board's responsibility, if they find that an ordinance is inconsistent with the master plan, you look at something, you say, I don't think this is consistent with the master plan. There's something in here that I don't think is consistent. This board absolutely has the right and the obligation to tell the council how it can be made consistent, what its concern is, why it's inconsistent, and we believe if you do A, B, or C, it would be consistent with the master plan. It's us reporting to them, here's our master plan, this is what we deal with, this is what we know, and what you're proposing, we don't think jives with it, but we think that if you do other things, you will be consistent with the master plan.
So, if we, just so I can see if I'm following you correctly, if we were to cast a vote saying that this is not consistent with the master plan, we're turning down what city council is proposing to us right now to vote on, and then we could recommend what the planning staff and what the director has proposed to city council to go over, and if they agree with it, then it comes back to a vote to us.
So we don't pass or approve anything, right? That's not within our authority. We are determining if it is or is not consistent with the master plan. So the first question is, what they sent us, is it consistent with the master plan? If it's consistent with the master plan, it goes back as being consistent with the master plan. If it's not consistent with the master plan, then it can go back, this is not consistent with the master plan, or this is not consistent with the master plan, but if you do A, B, and C, then it would be consistent with the master plan. And then the council has to move however the council chooses to move. They're the body that can adopt the legislation. So there is a way for the council to adopt legislation that's inconsistent with the master plan. There's a process for that.
My concern, though, Santo, is we don't legislate.
We do not.
That's city council's sandbox. And we also don't interpret what their, what's the word I'm looking for here? I feel like we're interpreting their
Intent? Fair.
rather than voting on what their ordinance is. Now, I think we're just, I think we're a little ahead of ourselves. I don't know why this is, I mean, I know why it's here. We all know why it's here. But I don't like when planning and politics collide. And that's what's happening here. And I think the proper way to do this is for us to vote on what the ordinance is that was sent to us. And again, city council, I think if they took your suggestions, well, it would still have to come back to us. They'd have to rewrite it, and it would all come back to us. So I don't know, I don't want to interpret their intent because I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Somehow they think this is going to save the hospital. And I'm not reading that here. I'm not seeing how that happens in their ordinance. And And again, you know, we're in the last, there's a city council meeting tonight. So there's one more city council meeting for this current city council. So I don't know that this gets the job done before the end of the year. That's my concern. I don't want to legislate, and I feel like that's what we're doing. I think it's up to city council and whoever the next administration is to legislate this and send it back to this board. Because my opinion is it's black and white that this ordinance does not comply with the master plan. And I think that's the only statement this board should be sending. I don't disagree with your interpretation, Tanya. I think you're spot on. But it's still up to city council to send that back to us for a review. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing their intent because it wasn't.
But that's one of your three options.
Yeah, it wasn't expressed to
Right.
us what the intent is, other than what this ordinance that was sent to us.
Correct.
And it's clearly not consistent with the master plan. So, you know, I don't know which way the board wants to go with a motion. That's my personal opinion as chair.
Sant, if you can, for just further elucidation for us, if you can just give us the three options that we have again?
So this board can either determine that it is consistent with the master plan, that it is inconsistent with the master plan, or that it is inconsistent and here's what would bring it into consistency or more consistent with the master plan, completely understanding the chairman's comments.
And let's just keep in mind that residential is still not a permitted use in any of it, correct?
Except for senior housing.
Senior housing,
Right,
which is identified in the master plan.
correct.
So,
See, as also that it should follow, primarily that it should follow the bulk standards of whatever zone that it's in.
so again, trying to interpret city council's intent, I don't see how this saves the hospital by eliminating senior housing and assisted living.
Well, and Chairman,
Not my job to do that.
That's not your job.
Yeah.
Your job is clear.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm saying, is my job is crystal clear here.
I might be
I-
jumping the gun here, but I'm going to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay.
Because I have a business up there.
Okay, gotcha.
So just,
Yeah, we still have to do public, so.
yeah. So if this is word for word the master plan from 2020,
Yep.
okay.
Is this the helpful slide for me to have up, or do you want the proposed zoning up?
Okay. So it says medical zoning only permits offices. The zoning generally discourages investing in these buildings and increases the chance that they will be demolished to accommodate more intensive hospital uses. As previously discussed, there is strong support for preserving existing buildings along this corridor. To address these issues, the city should explore rezoning this area to R1 or R2D. So where are we at with that? I kind of lost, when you were going back and forth in the maps and.
That's fair.
And I'm
That's
thinking
fair.
about turkey and stuffing, I'm kind of out of it.
So this probably would have been a phase 3 or a phase 4. Our phase 3 was 139 and the Hackensack waterfront, and this is probably what we would have come eventually for dealing with the medical overlay. We have to deal with the medical overlay and the university overlay as kind of our final phases for addressing all the recommendations from the master plan.
We didn't address this.
Not yet.
This has not been addressed.
No.
No.
Well, but
Correct.
to that point, that might be the recommendation. I mean, to honor the spirit of what I just read.
So Tanya, to be clear, this has not been addressed as yet. The
No.
Overlays.
We have not proposed any changes to the medical district.
So city council is not previewed to this?
City council knows the master plan. Is that what you're asking?
No, the overlays.
No, I have not, like, they sent this to us like yesterday, so I did the 10 days that I needed to
Well,
get
but-
this on the agenda.
But let's focus on the legality of everything, right?
Yeah.
All that we have from the city council is, here's a proposed ordinance dealing solely with the medical zone. We want to change it. We want to take out these 2 permitted uses, and we want to lower the height to 5 stories in the medical zone. Send that to the planning board. Tell them if this is consistent with the master plan. That's what they're asking you to do. Is this or is this not consistent with the master plan?
So why don't we just take a vote on that?
That is what we're voting on, but there are 3 potential options, right? That's all I'm saying. The rest of this stuff is, to the chair's point, the idea of rezoning anywhere in the city, that's council. That's not us, right? We worked on the master plan. These are the recommendations in the master plan. Now the legislative body has to decide how they want to move forward. All they've asked this board to do is consider making these changes to the medical zone. That's it. Get rid of these 2 uses, drop the height to 5 stories. Period. That's all they're asking. Is that consistent with the master plan?
No.
I just couldn't resist a good time.
That's the vote.
Well, I mean, so here's the vote and here's the argument, I think. So if it
Oh,
says.
but we do have to open a public still. Just,
And just for clarity, I'm sorry, R2D is RC2. R2D was what it was called before we redid the master plan.
should
I
have gone
know,
to
I know, we had to
R2D2.
rechange everything.
Right, so to the extent that's somewhat sinking in, it says this goal can also be achieved with the medical overlay, which is, I think, the phase 3 thing that you just presented, right? More or less.
Phase-ish, yeah, phase 4 or 5, whatever we're up to.
Except the 2 boxes underneath there talks about housing implications. That's number 1. And then number 2, it says, proposed regulatory changes, provide senior housing allows, same bulk. Doesn't say whether or not attached to a hospital or not, but it says same bulk.
And again, I just wanted, I did not cherry pick these. This is the search all, master plan, and your staff report has the more detailed.
No, they're the most
Citations.
salient points. And you know what? So if we're saying that, so the zoning discourages investing in these buildings and increases the chance that they will be demolished and accommodate more intensive hospital use. So if you're already at, whatever number of stories, 100 feet, to zap it and say, okay, you can only go half of it is counter to what I'm understanding the master plan saying. Public.
Yeah. Any other questions before we go open it up for public?
Let's open it to public.
Okay, let's do it. So anybody, come on, make your way up. Yeah, anybody from public that wants to comment on this, please come on up. And we have 3 minutes for each of you.
I do. Sure. It's Kern, Kern, last name Weissman, Weissman, at 576 Palisade Avenue.
Mr. Weissman, good evening. We have 3 minutes for you, sir.
Could I possibly get dispensation? I have 3 organizations that I'm speaking for tonight. Could I get 5 minutes? Is that possible? Or-
Is anybody else from those organizations going to speak
They're-
tonight?
No, they're not. I'm the
Are we
only one.
sure?
here. No, I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because they have other commitments.
I could do
unfortunately,
that.
the holiday, so.
Sure, I can do
Kurt,
that.
What are the 3? Kurt.
Oh, yep, I'll speak that now, thank you. So the Riverview Neighborhood Association, of which I'm the chair of the Development Committee, the Pershing Field Neighborhood Association, and the Sergeant Anthony Neighborhood Association.
Okay, before you start, is anybody else here from any of those organizations?
Told you.
Thank you. I feel like we saved, 4 minutes by letting you speak for all three.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
all right, the
Yeah,
floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you for your accommodation, and evening, commissioners. I appreciate you. So I'll just read this through. So I'm Colonel Weissman, head of the RNA Development Committee. Tonight, as I said, the aforementioned neighborhood associations, I won't repeat them. We are supporting this 25-124 ordinance as written, but we have no objection to retaining the 10-story limitation for legitimate hospital and medical uses as per planning staff's recommendation. But to be clear, any attempt to have hybrid or residential uses reconfigured in the medical district should be rejected outright. But we feel that the framework outlined by planning in what you just saw is acceptable, and believe that time is of the essence. So we know that this is something that has to be done quickly, but we also agree with planning's recommendations. So we are kind of an all-in here. So we will simultaneously be working with planning staff to address the shortcomings in the Peapod as well, which this site is also part of that zone. There's an overlay called the Palisade Protection Overlay District, which is also part of that. Separate, completely separate. I'm just letting you guys know that that's also something that we're working with staff in the city on and city council on, because we want to actually remove the references of cliff face and its definition from the Peapod, so that there can be no exploitation of the cliff or danger to the cliff from any new construction or anything that goes on at that site. So it's very important, but separate. Understood that's a separate would be a separate ordinance. So we are very concerned that HRH, Hudson Regional Health, has positioned itself to get a significant real estate windfall. We note that Jersey City gave almost all of the land previously as all the land to previous non-for-profit entities. There was a substantial undertaken by the city in 1978 to support expansion of the current hospital building. So the city went to the effort to buy out and take the land, and the expectation that a legitimate not-for-profit hospital administration would not drive the hospital into the ground as Hudson Regional has. So we respectfully request that planning staff and corporate counsel undertake a more thorough review of the land transactions, but at the end of the day, what we're asking for is that the master plan be implemented with the recommendations here by staff. We are asking the board to act upon the recommendations in the Lower Heights Vision Study, which is part of the master plan, which you guys saw previously. We request the removal of the area north of the emergency room for the medical district and change to the RC2 per planning's recommendation and proposal and map. We encourage the preservation of housing along the Palisade corridor. And lastly, we would like planning to explore the creation of Palisade Promenade with the staircase linking Palisade and Hopewood Ave as part of also what's recommended in the master plan. At the end of the day, we think that staff has done an excellent job in terms of what's being recommended here. We do recommend the adoption of the existing ordinance by the recommendation that it be adopted. We then also agree that what was just presented here should also be adopted, and so that it's consistent with the master plan. And I would like to also say that we do support, all three organizations heavily support senior housing. Senior housing is also advocated for in all of the districts, including the R2D, which would be the underlying zone here. So we do support senior housing. We just want it within the residential uses, not necessarily within the medical use. So, within the medical zone. So it should be within the RC2, the R1, and all those residential zones rather than the medical zone. So I think this accomplishes that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Colonel. Appreciate it.
You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And for the record, can you state your name and give us your home address, please?
Debbie White, 9 Lakeside Drive, Marlton, New Jersey.
Good evening. We have 3 minutes for you, ma'am.
Hi. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Debbie White. I'm the president of HPAE. We are the union that represents the nurses at Heights Hospital. And I stand in support of this amendment to the zoning ordinance. I have no opinion about the stories as long as it's hospital zoned, but the rest I will leave to the city council. But as I speak to you tonight, hundreds of my members are without work, and the community is without an acute care hospital with inpatient beds. Unilaterally, Hudson Regional shut down Christ Hospital to inpatient admissions in violation of our contract, of labor law, of the WARN Act, of ERISA law, and in violation of the Department of Health Certificate of Need process. This is the only department and process that should be evaluating whether there should be a reduction of services or a closure of a hospital. It was done impulsively and chaotically, without regard to the law, without regard to the community or the workers. We need healthcare services on this property, and therefore it's imperative that we approve the zoning change. At the very least, the following services are critical: emergency, dialysis, mental health, addiction treatment, and maybe some inpatient bed capacity. While the whole hospital is a lifeline for so many in that community, these beds are especially needed. After Hudson Regional abruptly shut down the dialysis unit, in addition to the rest of the hospital, the patients that received dialysis in that hospital had nowhere else to go. This is a life-sustaining treatment. You cannot live without dialysis if you're a dialysis patient. And I'm an RN. I'm a dialysis RN. These patients showed up in the emergency department asking where they were going to get their treatment. And they had to recall all the staff that were laid off in the dialysis unit to bring them in to do the treatments for these patients. Look, Hudson Regional had left them with no alternative to receive their life-sustaining dialysis. They also had to open some inpatient beds afterward because they received an influx of emergency department patients that needed to be monitored as inpatients. Please don't let the land Christ sits upon simply become high-priced condos. And the fear here is they'll be high-priced elderly living condos or senior housing condos. And that was the fear there. HRH cannot be trusted to do the right thing by the community unless they're forced to do so.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I appreciate that. Thank you for listening.
Question before you go. And this board doesn't, I wish we did. We don't do labor disputes.
I am simply painting a picture.
I get it.
Yeah.
Believe me, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm an organizer. I'm a local organizer for my union. Have you filed ULPs with the
We
Department
filed
of Labor?
ULPs. We have several lawsuits. This board will see Hudson Regional come forward, but yes, we had to file lawsuits under ERISA, under labor law.
Sure.
Yes, ULPs under labor law. Contract violations. I mean, they have absolutely no regard for the community. And
So-
yes, we have taken appropriate action as a union.
So on the personal note, thank you for doing that. As far as the planning board goes, we have no jurisdiction
Oh, we
over
know.
that.
We know.
Whatsoever.
Simply painting a picture here for all of you.
And again, that picture isn't rooted in zoning. I wish
Yeah.
it was, but my attorney is about
Let's
to
move back
strangle
to
me.
zoning.
So
Thank
we
you.
have to move on. But thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your
very
time.
much.
And if anybody else is going to go the same route, we're going to shut it down a little earlier this time. We're not going to let the 3 minutes go. So if we're going to talk about zoning, let's talk about zoning. This should be your exact talk for city council, though. But it's not here. This isn't the proper venue for it. I apologize.
Hi, my name's, yes, I do. So my name is Bridget Devane,
and my home address is 313 Lorraine Avenue, Bradley Beach, New Jersey. I'm actually speaking on behalf of Renee Steinhagen, who regrets not being here tonight, who lives at 77 Hudson Street, apartment 1405 in Jersey City.
And is it pertaining to zoning?
Yes.
Okay.
So Renee Steinhagen is the executive director of New Jersey Appleseed. Renee has represented the community on a number of issues, going back to the original fight in 2012 to save Christ Hospital, focusing on protecting the campus and dedicating the land to maintain healthcare services, and also addressing the real estate investment trust. And I'm going to skip all of the history here and go straight to what Renee's critical point for tonight and
Please,
around this.
we've taken up a minute so far.
City Council is rightfully taking steps to ensure that the original purpose of the medical district remains satisfied. Although we understand that senior housing and assisted living are permitted uses in the district and are compatible with the medical district, their removal is necessary at this time to ensure the healthcare services that are directly available to Jersey City residents remain on site. Such services can include emergency services, acute care beds, same-day surgery, physicians' offices. Those senior and assisted housing are proper ancillary uses in the district. They cannot be the only use or even the primary use, since the current owner has clearly shown no interest in maintaining medical services at the site. To eliminate such permitted uses in order to protect the explicit purpose and intent of creating the medical district in the first place. And that's what Renee would like to have on the record this evening. She regrets not being here. I also would like to just, for the record, thousands of signatures from the community to support Christ Hospital. If I can give these to the board.
We can't verify who those people are, who the signatures are. We typically don't take
Okay.
anything like that. We just can't verify it. So, but we, thank you. Thank you for coming down. Okay, anybody else from public? Come on up, please. And once again, we're going to stick to zoning.
Swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And for the record, can you state your name and give us your address, please?
Yes, my name is Liam Paiva, Liampaiva, 78 West 13th Street in Bayonne.
Good evening. We have 3 minutes for you.
All right, good evening. I'm a member of the Democratic Socialist of America, speaking in favor of the ordinance, and I'm also a public school, high school social studies teacher. On September 25th, 2025, HRA submitted luxury housing plans that reflect completely getting rid of the hospital as a whole. This ordinance would ensure medical zones are actually used for medicine, not just for housing. Your recommendation on master plan consistency will determine whether it has a legal solid foundation. If this ordinance conflicts with the master plan, then the master plan needs emergency amendment. Neither the master plan nor updates to land use and open space elements in 2022 anticipated the systemic destruction of safety net hospitals in the name of profits like we're witnessing now. The public health emergency we face justifies expedited master plan reexamination, but acknowledging that that's not what the board can do, I call on the planning board to acknowledge the emergency circumstances and to either recommend approval of the ordinance despite master plan inconsistency concerns, or adopt the director's plan and recommend it to City Council. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that people will die if this hospital remains closed, and that time is of the essence. And lastly, I want to say that everything is political, whether you like it or not. To say otherwise is delusional and cowardly. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anybody else from public?
Wishing to speak, I move to close the public speaking portion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. So guys, we're gonna have to deliberate this out loud, right? I think we're all over the place on this, so let's have an open and honest discussion in front of the public on it. Tanya, you're more than welcome to jump in with us. I think I've made my position clear. I recognize that, you know, this is This is just unbelievable that this hospital was shut down. It is unfreaking believable. I just don't believe that city council's ordinance complies with the master plan. It's black and white for me. So, anybody else want to jump in with any other ideas?
I mean, it's really clear, crystal clear, that the master plan is not consistent with city council ordinance. That's pretty much what it is. It's not consistent.
If we vote on the master plan.
Correct.
We vote on our redevelopment plans, we vote on our master plans. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we look at. That's what's brought up to us. If it's not consistent with the master plan, we take a vote on that. Now, if there was the option 3, if it wants to be brought up to council, yes, we bring it up to council. But it's clear this is not consistent with the master plan. And I think it's just simple as that. We can make it more complicated and stuff like that, yeah. You know, you guys know me, I'm born and raised in Jersey City, and Christ Hospital was like still never thought this would happen.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're looking at right now. We're looking at something that city council trying to do. It's not working with the master plan. I say we just vote on that.
I, for one, board, so notwithstanding what Chair had talked about, because I think there's a lot of truth in what he said. As a doctor, you guys know I'm a medical doctor. This is very clear to me. The way I'm seeing it right now is probably gonna be my motion. I'm looking at this as we have 3 options as our council told us. I'm looking at this as this is not consistent with the master plan at all. And to your point, we vote on the master plan, and then we kind of that's why we vote on a master plan, right? So this is not consistent at all. The way it was pushed through should not have any bearing, which it does not on my vote, but it's obvious how things are being done. Not consistent, but the presentation by our director makes perfect sense on how it can become consistent.
I agree.
And so, that's one of the 3 options, thank God, proposed by council, and I think that's a great one. I mean, that's what I'm going to be probably making the motion on. Not consistent, but we have a plan to make it consistent. It was a beautiful plan. It was presented today. Take a look at it. Send it back to us after you review it. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
And I'm in agreement with that as well.
Yeah.
Just to vote no and say, hey, no, but to send it back saying no, but if you do this, then you can probably, get it done.
With the understanding to me that, yes, that still has to come back to us.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
It would, right? It would come back to us?
Yeah, it still has to come back to us.
Right.
Yeah, it would have to go back. My recommendation is too substantially different for them to be able to vote on it at a second
Correct.
reading.
Now, have they seen this?
No.
Okay.
No.
And what would be the time frame for them to get it back?
Good question.
So they have to vote one way or the other on December 10th for the proposal that is in front of you right here. If they were to, that's really it, right? So they can't go back to first reading because now it's the January.
So
Right. It would have to be and because it's a new council, everything gets washed away at the end of the year, essentially. So they have to start from scratch.
Yeah, so legally, they can't approve anything that,
No, they can't approve our secondary recommendation. They kind of have to make a decision on their own, on their, not on their own, yes, on their own, but on their own proposal.
okay.
But even if it doesn't go through, for public and transparent purposes, given the way the master plan's written, even if the current owners of the property on Palisade Avenue want to propose 2 10-story buildings adjacent to the hospital as it is, it would find a difficult time getting through this board.
No,
Wait a
but I
minute,
don't know how much
wait
you
a
want to talk about that.
I think you're jumping
Wait
ahead.
a minute.
Wait.
Wait a minute. The charge and authority of this board on this matter is clear. The only thing this board has the authority to do and concern itself with is whether or not what the governing body is proposing is or is not consistent with the master plan. That's the end of the conversation. This board cannot get involved in any of the political reasons and various conflicting rights of various people as to what can happen with the properties. This isn't about one particular piece of property. This is about the medical zone, both in the Heights and in Greenville. This is not limited to this specific particular hospital. So while everybody understands what it is believed could be happening in the world, this board's reality is it or is it not consistent? What my legal recommendation to the board would be is if you find it to be inconsistent, then this board's position is what the governing body is proposing is inconsistent with the master plan. There's a transcript of this meeting as to exactly how this board feels about the conflict between what's proposed and the master plan. And the governing body can overcome this body's position that it's inconsistent with the master plan. They can do that. All they have to do, for the record, is by an affirmative vote of the majority of the fully authorized members of the governing body, adopt a resolution setting forth its reasons for deviating from the master plan and recording the reasons in its minutes. That's in the statute. That's what they have to do. So this board should not be getting involved in any of the politics behind it. That is not appropriate.
So my point wasn't about politics, but I'll rewind the comment. It was more about the practicality of moving forward. But that being said, what you just read, though, if we go with, and I tend to agree with Doc's recommendation, to make a recommendation, as Tony said, I don't want to just say no, then at their next meeting, they could, based on what you just read, say, well, okay, we heard their opinion, but we could go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And that's the legislative job, right?
But that's all I want to know, is it yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Then I agree with Doc that, or to use Chairman's words, let's play in our sandbox. It seems like the general consensus is.
Absolutely.
We want to go with option 3 and saying it doesn't, but here's something we recommend, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Okay. I think we're ready for a motion then, possibly?
Okay, Mr. Chair, Board, I'd like to make a motion that after reviewing the redevelopment plan, Amendment 345M, Ordinance 25-124, this board finds it inconsistent with the master plan, and that the recommendations proposed by the planning board of the city of Jersey City would make it consistent with the master plan.
Second.
By the planning staff.
Thank
By
you.
the planning staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a
Vice-
motion and a second for approval, including recommendations from the planning staff.
Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye, definitely.
Commissioner Lewis.
I'm abstaining.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Definitively aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Okay. On a motion to recommend to City Council with planning comments as inconsistent with the master plan, we have one recusal, we have one abstention, and we have 7 in favor. So motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Cam. All right, we're going to take a break, everybody. It's 9:30 right now. Once again, for anybody left for tonight, we don't take any
Six in
testimony
favor.
after 10 o'clock. Okay?
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, we don't open new applications after 10 o'clock, and we don't take testimony after 10:30.
He said what?
Yeah, why should I? Why shouldn't I? Please. We are going to call item 12 next, but maybe let's go down the list and call out the items that I don't see a chance of us getting to in the next 15 minutes. So, I don't know, where do we want to start? Do we want to start at the end and work our way backwards here? We're gonna do 12.
Why don't you do, I mean, you got 15 minutes.
Okay. All right, so let's call case P2025-0247 is a redevelopment plan amendment for, I don't have an address here, 155 Morgan. It's down. Go ahead, Matt.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. So this amendment before you was petitioned by Silverman Properties LLC to enable the adaptive reuse of the Morgan Street Firehouse as a commercial retail restaurant type banquet space. So the parcel in question is currently zoned R3, which does not allow retail use. It only allows residential. And so this amendment, in order to enable this adaptive reuse as a commercial space, would add this property, which was already designated as an area in need of redevelopment because it was previously added to the scatter site redevelopment plan as well. It would add it to the powerhouse redevelopment plan, specifically in the rehabilitation zone. And the purpose of the rehabilitation zone is to facilitate the quality, historically accurate rehabilitation of historically valuable buildings in the powerhouse neighborhood, while finding new viable economic uses for them. So a lot of the warehouse renovations that have happened over there, creating retail spaces, theater spaces, maker spaces, galleries, and the like that's what this zone does. So and so this will allow for a mix of uses, flexibility in phasing, and potentially specific penthouse additions where appropriate, though manageable in height. The property would have to comply with the LDO's historic design standards and the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, though the property would not have to go to HPC. So it would be reviewed for historical impact at the staff level by our historic preservation staff as part of a planning board application process, this property, if it would be redeveloped according to these rules in the rehabilitation zone. In terms of consistency with the master plan, it provides for 15-minute cities and neighborhood cores. It recognizes and promotes the richness of historic assets and celebrates and beautifies the public realm and repurposes and reuses existing structures. And so, lastly, I did mention that this property is currently in the R3 zone. So residential use is not allowed typically as of right in the rehabilitation zone of the powerhouse redevelopment plan, but and included in the documents that were submitted to city to the board are short text amendments that would essentially grandfather those rights. And so we're adding rights and flexibility here for this property without taking any away. And with that, I'm open to any questions the board may have about this amendment. Recommendation is for a finding of consistency with the master plan and the adoption of the amendment by City Council. It potentially could, though it's my understanding that it's the intent of the developer to develop this as a solely commercial property. But the historic integrity of the structure would have to be maintained in a ways that the R3 zone did not provide for previously. And so that styles of residential development and the size and the bulk of that residential development you might see on such a property would not have been of the same scale that the R3 zone previously allowed, even if from a density perspective it might be the same.
Okay.
And so basically they have to maintain the existing form factor of the firehouse, but with maybe some small additions on top for vital infrastructure and the like. What you couldn't do is do a giant 6-story overbuild.
Gotcha.
Or the like, for example. There previously was a residential approval at this site that the zoning board approved. And it's my understanding that the site's owner backed out of that development because they found it infeasible to construct after doing some exploratory boring. Which is how this new plan for a commercial structure that doesn't involve a large addition came about. And so this was petitioned, and staff and the petitioner worked together to develop this amendment.
Okay.
But you stated that it would be allowed and then taken away? What you said at the end? Or what stops, okay, we know this building. This building wants to go into a restaurant and it's not allowed in the R3 district. But if somebody else wanted to do another restaurant right down the block, or if I vote on this, does it allow this to keep happening in that neighborhood?
No, so this is the only parcel
just that one building
being added to the redevelopment plan. So this parcel, which is unique among that stretch of Morgan Street, for already being designated as an area in need of redevelopment and therefore is eligible to be added to a redevelopment plan. And this action is adding it to this redevelopment plan. And so the other properties on either side of this property would remain within the R3 zone and have the standard rules
It wouldn't
of the
affect
R3
any
zone.
other R3 zone areas in
Nope.
any of our plans.
The property would no longer be in the R3 zone for planning purposes.
Okay.
Understood. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, thanks, Matt. All right, is anybody here from the public that wants to comment on this application?
Seeing no
Anybody from
public, I move to close the public.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Public is closed. Matt, we have your recommendation, so I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept and approve the addition of 155 Morgan to the Rehabilitation District of the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment plan and sent to City Council for formal adoption.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded for approval.
Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Gangadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky,
Good job. Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
No.
That's a no?
No, yeah.
No. And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
So motion carries 7-1.
Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, so before we call item 11, Cam, do we want to start carrying items? Because I think this is certainly, we're not going to finish this in the next 5 minutes.
Yes, Chair, and that would be to January 27th in the year 2026. So,
Okay, so let's start with 14, case P2025-0086. I don't see a Stephen Joseph here. Mr. Higgins?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
On January 27th is the next available meeting.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I just ask that we preserve our notices for that.
Sure, of course. Okay, so we're carrying case P2025-0086 to a date certain, January 26th or 27th?
27th.
27, with preservation of notice. Thank you, council. Enjoy your holiday. Okay, down the list, we have
17.
C2025-0134, minor site plan for 391 Fairmont Ave. Council? Sorry we made you sit here all night.
It's pretty interesting, actually. So you always learn something at the planning board. Everybody should attend one once in their lifetime.
I've gone way over my limit now. Okay, so we're going to carry you, same thing, date certain, January 27th. We'll preserve your notice.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the holiday.
All right, thank you, council. You too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That was 17. Okay, item 20, case P20168, preliminary and final major site plan for 417 to 427 Hoboken Avenue.
That was Mr. Pepe. He left and understood there was going to be.
Okay, so we're going to carry that to, what's the matter, Matt? You all right?
No, sorry.
Okay, I'm trying to get through this quick here. We're carrying that to a date certain, January 27th, with preservation of notice. Item 21, case P2025-0039, preliminary and final major site plan with C variances for 87 Van Horn Street. Council?
Yes, if we could carry that, if the 27th is the first available date.
That is the first available date, so we're going to carry that with preservation of notice. Do we have anything else that?
I do have, you had number 25.
Okay, so item 25, P2025-0068, preliminary and final major site plan with variances for 597 Marin Boulevard, also known as 166 4th Street. That's going to be carried to a date certain. Camp, stop me if we're filling up the 27th.
No, we're fine.
Okay, we're carrying that to a date of January 27th with preservation of notice. That's number 25. And going down the list, number 26, case P2025-0101, minor subdivision at 455 3rd Street. Council, again?
Yes.
27th?
Yeah, and 26 and 27 are together, the
Okay.
subdivision and the site plan.
Okay, so we'll also call case P2025-0102, preliminary and final major site plan at 455 3rd Street. That, as well as the previous one, we're going to carry to a date certain, January 27th, with preservation of notice. Thank you, council.
Okay,
While
thank you.
you're there, we're going to call your application.
Yeah, I'm going to have Rebecca
Okay.
take the lead on this one.
Okay, excellent. All right, so let's call case P2025-0108 is a site plan amendment for 612 Pavonia Avenue. Good evening, again, council.
Good evening.
Mr. Harrington promised 10 minutes on this.
I'll promise 5. I'll do one better.
First she outshines McCann, and now it's Chuck. Ooh. Oh, yay.
Chuck, you let her take the lead.
Okay. So we are here on behalf of the applicant, Homestead Market LLC, for the property located at 608 and 612 Pavonia Avenue. This property is located in the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan, Zone 3. By way of brief background, the applicant is the designated redeveloper of this site and has entered into a redevelopment agreement with the JCRA to provide for this specific project. Now, in October of 2024, the applicant received preliminary and final major site plan approval to construct a 27-story mixed-use building with ground floor office/retail space, ground floor, second and third floor, with 432 residential units on the floors above. In October of this year, the applicant applied for and received an administrative amendment to repurpose the ground floor lobby for a hotel lobby rather than a retail office, and the hotel and the retail/office space on the second and third floors 2 hotel units, 23 hotel units. They also received an administrative amendment to make some modifications to the building facade, also to relocate some utilities that were on the property, to finalize that for the building plans. They also received an administrative amendment in October to decrease the building's mass, among other changes to the rooftop plan. We are here before the board this evening seeking amended final major site plan approval to increase the unit count to 5 units. So going from 437 residential units to 432 residential units to 437 residential units. We have one witness here today, our project architect, Paul Freitas.
I do. Paul, P-A-U-L, last name Freitas, F-R-E-I-T-A-S.
Mr. Freitas, good evening. Is your license current tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Paul, I'm sorry, before you start, I forgot to mention, this is a notice case, so I would like to mark the notice as Exhibit A1.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Chair, I see the affidavit notice proof of mailing with respect to the application 608 Pavonia and 612 Pavonia here in the city. It does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1.
All right, thank you, counsel. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, try to be as brief as possible. The bulk of the changes that are represented in our newest set of drawings reflect a change in use on the second and third floors from office to hotel, adding additional hotel units. On the first floor, also adding a hotel lobby instead of an office lobby, and then also on the upper floors on the second floor, a hotel lobby versus an office lobby. We also modified a couple of dimensions on the ground floor to reflect changes in dimensions. They're all nominal. For example, if you look, 8 feet versus 7 feet, 29 feet versus 40 feet versus 40 foot 2. So all the skin of the building's changed just slightly. The building also has been inset a little bit more. The ground floor also now has been modified to kind of reflect the changes in scope relative to the changes on the second and third floor. As was mentioned earlier, the unit counts have changed somewhat. There are 437 units versus the proposed 432 in the previous application. Gross area also have changed. Uses also, layouts on all of the floors have changed according to apartment layouts and kind of coordination with respect to engineering. So the bulk of the changes really revolve around kind of relocating interior pieces of the equation for the building, and also modifying apartments to kind of suit the program and add when we added 5 units. So you'll see on the second floor, originally we had office space, and now we're calling out for hotel units. Third floor is the same, where we're adding a number of additional units versus open office space. All of the plans kind of got modified somewhat to kind of reflect just ongoing design issues. So we wanted just to make everybody aware that that's the case. And that goes all the way up to the, all the way up to the top floor. The roof, where we kind of modified the bulkhead a bit, enlarged it, and kind of changed some of the layouts, added a trash room, also added a green area on the roof as well. And again, the bulkhead also to increase the mechanical portion of the building to service the rest of the building. That is pretty much the extent of the changes. And then, of course, because we modified the exterior, the elevations have pretty much remained the same. They've just been modified to reflect the bulk changes in the plans.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freitas. Going to the roof, the trash collection up there. That's a trash chute, or that's just
It's a
room
trash
with garbage
room.
cans?
So basically, if there's people outside having an event, it basically is a doorway that opens into a trash room. It's ADA accessible and allows people to recycle from the rooftop to get rid of their trash. So it's just a easy way to get rid of stuff when you're having an event or something up on the rooftop.
Okay, but does that connect to a chute?
It goes, yeah,
down?
connects to a chute that runs through the whole entire building down to the ground floor into trash containers.
Okay, and that room is climate controlled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got fire suppression
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just making sure.
and ventilation.
Is this under construction currently, or is this built?
This is currently it's started construction. There's foundations have been poured, but it hasn't. It's still in the structural piece of the equation.
Okay, understood. Yeah, that's my only question. Anybody
Sure, I
else?
just have a question.
Sure.
So with the previous approval, there were office space and retail space?
Yes.
So with the proposed amendments, there will be no office space and retail both?
No, the retail will still exist on the first floor, and it's been revised. Here, I can go back to the first floor. There was some a retail portion on the second floor as well, but that's been done away with. So on the ground floor, you still have retail, but it's been kind of modified. On the second floor, hold on a second. So you had a retail space on the corner. It just kind of changed its shape. So there's still retail on the ground floor. It's just kind of been modified a bit. Here's another retail and a retail on each of the corners. And you can see that they've kind of been extended or just modified to kind of reflect the newest interior layouts.
And so there is no office space?
There's no office space, no.
So, Mr. Freitas, I'm going to ask one more time. Are any of these changes made already in the field? There's permits for footings and foundations, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is anything else going on there that we should know about before I drive there tomorrow?
Is there a job there tomorrow? I haven't been
Before
on
I drive
site.
there tomorrow.
I defer to
For the record, Charles Harrington. Yes, sir, I mean, some of the changes, I think have been made. It's beyond, the construction is beyond the foundation permit.
Was there
How
a
far
stop
up?
work order?
There's a stop work order, yeah, for the
Okay.
record. So,
So we
and because-
exceeded the footing and foundation permit? Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And we're
And
four,
that's why you have the stop work order.
maybe 5 stories up already?
That's right.
It's hard to count in the rain before.
Yeah. No, and that is why, and there, there's no excuse for it.
Well, it just
but
seems to be a
do know-
pattern.
I'm sorry?
It seems to be a pattern here. Because I think there's a stop work order on another one of these projects, right?
The other project, there is a stop work order. There's another issue. There was a fire code issue that precipitated that, and that's.
But they also didn't have permits to go beyond footings and foundations, correct?
That's
Because
my
I visited
that's
that
my
one.
understanding. Yeah.
I visited that one too.
Yeah. That's my
So that's up 5 stories, I believe, on a footings and foundation permit.
Yes, and that is accurate. My clients have been working with, with the building department on this. We filed this application back in May, early May, for these changes. And
That doesn't give them the right to just exceed the permits.
I know.
So.
I'm not here saying it does.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just,
But they're dealing with it. They do have a stop work order. They have not done any work since then until they come back to the board. The changes before you are not asking for any deviations or variances. They have been stagnant, for over a month, probably both projects.
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles, long time you see that this board doesn't take lightly when they do stuff. So as they go up in the future, I really would recommend if they already have a history of this, to do something they're not supposed to. Changing windows, changing stuff, and not come to this board would not be a good idea.
I totally agree. I mean, it makes my life a lot harder too. So, I've reminded him as well as other clients that it's better to ask permission than forgiveness. That's not the way to go before this board.
I feel embarrassed for all of us that, once again, here's another one that's, well, we haven't seen that one yet. But that's coming in January, right?
That's right.
So.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Because, this board doesn't have any recourse except for our scheduling. So, all right. I don't have any other questions at this point. Anybody else?
No, I think we're ready for a vote.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Freitas, that's your testimony?
Yes, thank you.
Council, anything else?
No, just that, again, it's I want to choose my words wisely. I mean, they did exceed the permit, but they do have a stop work order. What's before you is not asking for any deviations or variances. And I know we've been down this road before, and it doesn't make it any better, and it doesn't make me feel any better standing up here before you. But they are hoping to get back, starting construction.
Mr. Harrington, I just want to be clear so that the board is clear. The proposed changes are separate and apart from the stop work order. So the stop work order was issued because they started the building construction and exceeded the footing and foundation permit. As I understand it, there were construction drawings with the building department for building permits. Is that accurate?
I believe that's accurate.
So these changes that have been pending for some time now and have been filed are internal to make the project better. There are no deviations. But once the construction drawings that are on file with the building department are signed off on and building permits are issued, the stop work order gets lifted and the project continues. So if that happens tomorrow because the building department's reviewed the plans that they have, the project's going to go forward. What is being sought is really kind of, we want to make changes to the building, so here's what we're proposing to change. If the board were to deny it, we revert back to the original approval and we continue with the project. But that may not be in the best interest of the project because we're talking about making these internal changes to the benefit of the project as a whole.
That's correct.
So I don't want the board to think that, if we deny this, all of a sudden the project completely stops or anything like that happens.
They're not stopping.
Well, but the building department, right, is going to issue the permits based on the original approval anyway.
And there was an internal, we did get an administrative approval in the meantime as well. That was...
for various field changes.
Right.
Okay, we still have to open the public. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll open it up for public comment. Is anybody here from the public that wants to comment on this application?
Seeing no one from the public wishing to speak, I move to close.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Matt, you have anything?
I'm actually just looking for one bit of clarification that maybe Mr. Freitas could help with. Do you mind going to the eastern elevation? And I hope my question here just helps provide some clarity and some certainty to the quality of the facade finish.
Yeah. For them, let them lose it out because they should have come here.
You're talking about the stucco facade?
The east,
That's been changed to panel?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just because it wasn't addressed in testimony, could you just, explain, I guess, how the changes to the footprint of the building changed the way this facade is being treated? And
Yeah, so originally it was just a stucco color brick to match the brick. We've added, this note is, should have been removed. It's basically a panelized system now to kind of get rid of the stucco. Unfortunately, the note was left on there by accident.
could you, including going up the building, because I believe the footprint changed to have more of the building on the lot line, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so is that glass on the left, how does that differ from the glass on the right?
Yeah, you're talking about this portion
Yes.
right here? Yes. So this is all curtain wall now.
Okay, and what's the facade treatment?
It's painted aluminum finish and then panels.
All
Aluminum.
that is changing too?
Well, that's not there. It's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we're
changing from what we
stucco-
approved,
What?
from what we approved.
Yeah, it was originally stucco, I believe, and then when speaking with
The
planning,
the windows going all the way up, there's two different tones, two different,
Yeah, this is a shadow line from the original.
oh, okay.
and the idea is that facade may be exposed for a long period of time. So Matt asked us to bring the panels all the way up so that it's not a blank wall.
Yeah, you can also notice down here, this has changed as well.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing that out, Matt.
Yeah, and Mr. Freitas, is it your opinion that that's, as Mr. Harrington pointed out, this is going to be an exposed facade, that's an attractive treatment?
There's,
Well, sure.
you know, it's in keeping with the rest of the building and its elevations and the materiality of it. It's better than stucco.
Yeah, fair. Okay, thank you. I just lastly want to just highlight that in the staff report dated August 22nd, 2025, this has been on the agenda a while, that there's just 3 basic staff recommended conditions, including that the application shall continue to be bound by all conditions in the previous resolution as well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Recommendation.
I'm going to leave this one up to the board.
No recommendation whatsoever. Matt, are you satisfied with the panels?
There are no variances.
Is this a better project than the last one, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as better or worse. There's some changes.
There are changes.
I do have some concern with that eastern facade, but that's, I do also understand that sometimes there's conditions in the field that warrant changing a building's footprint, and the changes to the footprint that lead to those facade changes is not a variance condition.
Can we make the facade better?
Mr.
Is it an
Freitas, do you
is
have
it
any
an
thoughts?
aesthetic question?
I mean, if you would like to sit down with us and we can kind of go over it again with you and kind of work towards making it better, we're always game.
Yeah,
for
is there,
better.
I guess, in your expert opinion, is there a feasible materiality for a non-fenestrated facade that would perhaps mimic a fenestrated facade well?
I mean, the panels are basically, would be the kind of, if you don't have windows, would either be a metal panel or glass panels and glass panels.
Do you think spandrel glass might be appropriate here?
It's, it would become at a considerable expense to the client because it's such a large building and such a large
Good.
area. I mean, again, we could propose, we could work with your office to make it look better. if
I
that's
think,
something-
Matt, I think you guys should sit down and talk about this.
Should revise that facade?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we could agree as a condition of approval to work with Matt. I thought we worked on that facade.
Yes, we did discuss, and I in
But that's what we came to.
my recollection, yeah, of the discussions we had as with some of your professionals, not including Mr. Freitas, he was not part of those conversations, to be fair, was that spandrel glass would be part of the treatment for this facade. So I was somewhat confused when, yeah.
What we agreed to, if it was spandrel glass, that's what we agreed. I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm
I thought
Yes.
we worked it out. That's why I was surprised.
Yeah, that's why I was confused by the aluminum panel.
I will, I'll get back to my office and confirm that, but I may have misspoken. It could very well be spandrel glass in certain locations.
Okay, so Matt, here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
You're gonna have that discussion at your next convenience, and we're gonna wait to see those changes before we vote on this project.
Okay, the board would like to see those changes.
We would like to see those changes first. So I'll entertain a motion to carry.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion at this time to carry case P 2025-0108 until applicant and staff meet on the changes that are proposed.
Motion is made and seconded to carry.
Okay, well, and just for everybody.
We're in a motion, council.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
So you're gonna have to renose because we're not gonna set a date apparently.
I don't know when that meeting's gonna happen.
Understood? I'm just clarifying because that's what Mr. Harrington's question was.
I don't know when that meeting's gonna happen.
Call the roll.
The motion's there. Roll
Okay.
call.
Excuse me, it's late for all of us, I think. Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Commissioner Ganganon? Commissioner Wick?
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis? Commissioner Lipsky?
Aye.
Commissioner Torres?
Aye.
And Chair Langston?
Aye to carry. Okay, let's move on to memorialization of resolutions, everybody.
Mr. Chair, I have 10 resolutions, as I can see. Resolution number 1 of the Planning Board, so I make a motion to memorialize the following resolutions. Resolution number 1 is the City of Jersey City Planning Board, BRP Cove Point LLC for preliminary and final major site plan approval with a deviation A portion of former Kellogg Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 21901.04, Lot 1, formerly known as a portion of Block 2901.01, Lot 6.01, case number P 2023-0014. Second resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant BRP Cove Point LLC for preliminary and final major subdivision approval at 445 Route 440, Kellogg Street, New Jersey, New Jersey, Block 21901.01, lots 4.01, 5.01, and 6.01, case number P 2023-0013. Third resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant 388 7th Street LLC for preliminary and final major site plan approval with deviations at 388 7th Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 9802, Lot 34, case number P2024-0082. Number 4, City of the Jersey City Planning Board in the matter of Hancock S. Wright, Jersey City, LLC. Number P2024-0199, address 10 Exchange Place, decided October 7, 2025, memorialized November 25th, 2025, application for minor site plan approval and C variance relief. Fifth resolution of the City of Jersey City Planning Board in the matter of Coles Jersey Development Company, LLC, 258-282, 16th Street, Block 6003, Lot 2.01, P2025-0179, decided on October 28, 2025, memorialized on November 25th, 2025, Zone 4, Jersey City Avenue Park redevelopment plan, application for extension of preliminary and final major site subdivision approval. Number 6, resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant Apple Tree Suites LLC for preliminary and final major site plan approval, 76 Cottage Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 7902, Lot 67.01, case number P2024-0247. Seventh resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant 165 Newark Avenue, Fee LLC, amended preliminary and final major site plan, 163, 165 Newark Ave, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 12704, Lot 15, case number P2025-0187. Eighth resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City approving an extension of final major site plan approval with deviations applicant Green Homes Developer, Inc. for extension of preliminary and final major site plan approval, 85-87 Storms Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 15203, lots 4 and 5, case number P2025-0192. Resolution number 9 is resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant Homestead Market LLC, for amended final major site plan approval, 608 Pavonia Avenue and 612 Pavonia Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 7904, Lot 14.02. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. No second. Strike resolution number 9, as that has not been approved. It's been carried. And we have, that's it. You already included it here?
Put that one in, the Harbor Place?
Yeah, and the 9th then is applicant Harborside Plaza for Associates LLC for preliminary and final major site plan amendment with C deviation variance 20 Columbus Drive, also known as Harborside Plaza 4, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 11603, Lot 29, case number P2025-0232. Council?
And just to clarify the record, there were two resolutions on Morton Place, case number P 2025-0203, as well as case P 2023-0047. Again, that was the Morton Place Plaza LLC, preliminary and final major site plan, as well as preliminary and final major subdivision. I'm sorry, preliminary and final major site plan. That was adopted at the October 28th meeting. So I had a resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, Morton Place Plaza LLC, preliminary and final major site plan amendment approval, 38, 40, 42, and 46 Morton Place. 43, 45, 47, 49, and 51 Morton Place, and 202, 204, 206, 208, and 210 Orient Ave, Block 20902, lots 75, 76, 77, 82, 83, 84, and 85, Block 22305, lots 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And a resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, Morton Place Plaza LLC for preliminary and final major site plan approval, 38, 40, 42, and 46 Morton Place, 43, 45, 47, 49, and 51 Morton Place, 202, 204, 206, 208, and 210 Orient Avenue, Block 20902, lots 75, 76, 77, 82, 83, 84, and 85, and Block 22305, lots 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And again, purpose of the record, just clarifying that those were both approved and memorialized at the October 28th meeting.
In a second.
That was the motion and the second?
Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Gungadin. Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamano.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis. Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres. Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor to memorialize
Thank you,
resolutions.
everybody. I need 5 minutes executive session,
Mr.
please.
Chair, I make a motion to enter into executive session.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Cam, you can kill the camera.